What's going on, my freaks and geeks out there? We are the Score Roundtable podcast. I want to thank all of our viewers and listeners for joining us tonight, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate all the love. But yes, guys, tonight we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I am so happy to have a director, writer, and friend and colleague of the Score Roundtable podcast, Mr. Christopher Ward Jr., with us tonight. Tonight, we are going to discuss everything film, and we're going to talk about a little bit of everybody's projects that we've been working on. A big part of the Square Roundtable podcast is we like to celebrate our guests and everybody that's coming on, but in that process, we forget to talk about ourselves a little bit. So I just want to give everybody a chance to talk about what they got going on, because we're all writers and creators. I just want to give, all of my guys a chance to talk about what we got. And I'm going to talk about a little bit of it myself. So tonight, guys, we'll just have a little bit of a writer's roundtable. So yeah, man, I just want to go ahead and pose a question to our guest. And Marcus, I wanted you to answer this too, since you went and graduated from the same school. You both have a degree in film.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. So for both of you guys, I want to know what interests you guys in film. What in general about this art form made you want to pursue it as a career path?
Marcus, do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
Man, you can go first. Because I know you finna give a good story.
Thank you so much for having me on the podcast and that wonderful introduction. That's probably the best introduction I've ever been given. Not for bad reasons. I'm not really introduced that much. I'm usually the one that kind of just goes, "Hi, my name is," but I can't really do that here. So thank you very much. I guess my history with film begins when I was a lot younger. I really was just introduced to it, I think like the age of 6 or 7. And like my dad introduced me to movies. My grandfather introduced me to movies. And I immediately just became hooked. Like anybody has that story of, I've watched them since I've been young, but I think the best thing about them is that they really transported me. Like they really took me from where I was, not that where I was bad, but I really took to heart the films that I saw and really wanted to almost be a part of them. And and I would always find myself saddened by the fact that they're already out, they're already made, I can't go back and do that. So I think of my own films, or I think of what I would do, what I would have done if I was in it, or if I would have done something different. And I'd always try and write it out. And I started directing little small short films like around my house when I was like 13, like 12, 13 years old. And got my hand on a camera, just started filming things and little tiny stupid movies. I did the Lego stuff, like the little Lego movies on YouTube. Like I think I had a couple on there that had like years later that have 2 million views or something. And around that time, that was huge. So like, yeah. I was one of those kids. And I get the Legos and I'd watch a movie. I go to Blockbuster after. I know that sentence alone is just on Fridays. There was a Blockbuster near my school, near my fucking elementary school, and I'd go there every single Friday, and I'd rent like 4 movies, and that would be my whole weekend. And I would watch these movies, and then I would like almost recreate the scenes with all my Legos. I have so many Legos. I just recreate the whole scene. If I watched like Pirates of the Caribbean, it was the ships shooting at each other. And then at home, it's instead of 2 ships, it's 2 Star Destroyers. Just I'm like throwing shit back and forth. And it got fun. And then, of course, I get into middle school, high school, college, and I become more interested in film. I start writing, and I write for a few short films. I start film club at, GSU at my high school in North Atlanta. Started film club at my middle school. And since then, it's just been working. Like my parents always take great pride in saying, look, this is all he's ever wanted to do. There is nothing else. There's no plan B. It's just this.
That's what's up.
And a lot of people will come up to me and they will just say, or like when I'm talking to them, they're trying to figure out what they're supposed to do. They just look at me. They're like, how do you do it? Like, how has this been the one thing you've always wanted to do? There's never been anything else that you felt that you could do at. And I said, honestly, I'm asking you that. I envy that almost, like that freedom of choice.
Yeah.
Because like people tell me, oh, you'd be a great teacher. Oh, you'd be a great, I could be a teacher. The pay has to be better. But I mean, it's criminal. But yeah, that's basically why how I've been so interested in this art form. And I feel like it is the purest art form that's ever been created, because it is it could translate so much with so little.
Yes.
Because we are so visual in how we, perceive things, where our written word is important, but our written word is purely based upon our visual. Obviously, it's purely based on our visual kind of absorption of everything that's around us. Like, you're not going to
100%.
take a description of a battle way back in like 1642 from a blind man. It's like you're not gonna take that. You're not gonna believe an inch of that, but you will take it from somebody who saw it and
Sure.
who wrote it down. And then nowadays you can almost recreate it with like maybe 60 or 75% accuracy.
So
Marcus, floor is yours.
So with me, it's the same, but it's different at the same time, because for me, I've always loved movies, but I never thought I would go on that path at all, because like I always tell y'all, I was like, I love sports, but I was a nerd at the same time. So I thought I was gonna play a little professional something. So I didn't know what it was gonna be. But just like Chris, my dad was the one who got me into movies, because all he used to have is like the cabinet full of like VHS tapes and all that. So the first movie he ever showed us, me and my brother, was the Michael Keaton Batman, the first one. So that got me hooked in the movies, and that got me hooked on the like Batman. So those were like that was like my gateway into both of those.
Nice.
So I was always just fascinated with just the fact that they could make all of this, and it just almost seems so realistic in a way. It's like Chris said, you escape from this, reality for a minute. So when I was younger, I used to do stuff like when I would play my toys and stuff, I took it very serious, because I really felt like I was making like a production. Like I had a set. Like when I would I played with my Batman toys. I had the Batcave over here. This was Gotham City. This was like the layer for the boss. And it was crazy because sometimes the boss was like an evil version of Spider-Man, but that's a story for another day. So
you work with what you had.
I used to kick my brother out the room because I was like, he's gonna do something dumb and mess it up. So that was like my whole little experience with it. And then I taught myself how to draw, so I had that little thing. So I was like, you know what? I think that'll be cool to draw cartoons and stuff like that. So I still really wasn't thinking about film. So once I got to like middle school, high school, I still was trying to figure out exactly what I wanted to do. So when I got to college, I actually entered college as a art major. So I was doing art at first. And the funny thing about this is, I tell people this all the time. When I took film as an elective class, just so I could have some credits, I failed it the first time. The very first time I ever took film, I failed it. Like, I'm talking about didn't go to class, didn't do nothing. So I took it again with a different professor, and I was like, you know what, let me take this serious and let me see what it's about. Because that was when I got to my I'm taking school serious reality check. So I took film, and I was like, man, I know when I was younger, I was really into this, but it's a lot more to it. And I love it because I always, no matter what DVD I got, I always watch the behind the scenes commentary, how they made the costumes, the sets, everything like behind the scenes and what they put into it. I would sit there and watch that. And I was like, man, I got to be crazy because I'm sitting here watching stuff for like an hour about them making a damn costume that took them like 3 weeks. But that's what I enjoyed that part of it. So once I took it as a class and I learned the like history of it and the art form of it, I was like, man, you know what? I think I'm gonna try this out. So I went with it. I kept art as my background for like my minor, which works out. So like you, Chris, mine is different from yours because I didn't know that was the one thing I wanted to do. I was like, I could be a animator and still do direct animated films, or I can somehow fuse these two, or I can not even draw. I could just do storyboarding. So I was still trying to fuse art and film together. So it's always been that like tug of war with me with art and film because those are my two backgrounds. But I got really into film when I got to Georgia State and I started taking like theory classes, and that's when it like clicked. And I actually
There's
took a
some
writing
great classes.
class. Yeah. And when I took a writing class and I actually got to start writing, because I've always been writing since I was like elementary school. I found something the other day that I wrote, but I used to do like my own little comic books and stuff that I still have to this day. So I've always had that creativity behind me. So when I actually got to do it, I was like, man, you know what? It's not that bad. It's pretty cool because you get to express yourself.
Yeah.
Once I did that, like Chris says, you just go with it. And then people always ask you that crazy question, how do you do it? Hey, we some crazy, messed up individuals, but we love
Yeah.
it. Hey.
No,
Yeah.
that's what's up. One
That's cool.
thing,
Yeah.
one thing, Marcus, that I really admire about you is that you, every time we talk about something pertaining to your art or like your background, you literally have something to pull from.
I sent them something the other day, Chris, that I had from the sixth grade, and something
Ooh.
I had from my 12th grade year of high school. So
Wow.
I've kept everything I ever done. Like
That's good, though.
written. Yeah,
That's
even
some
like the
dedication.
bad stuff. Like I go back and look on it and I'll be like, ugh.
Oh, it's
That was
it's
so
always hard to
terrible.
look at the bad stuff.
Yeah.
But it's a
It's
good way for you to
always-
tangibly see the growth, though.
And of course, like after you see it, you just burn it.
In a fire, you just chuck it into a fire real quick. You're like, I've seen enough.
Well, look, we know what all of Joshua's memorabilia is.
Right.
In a
It
freaking
is-
ashtray, man.
Yeah.
It is right. It's completely
Scattered to the wind.
Look, speaking of
Yeah.
y'all, look, I just happen to have something right here.
See, there it goes.
This is something I did in the sixth grade. So,
Wow.
and I only colored one part of the page because I got tired of coloring it in, and then everything else is like black and white. So yeah, this was like my rip off of Dragon Ball Z. I called it Dragon Masters because I wanted to make my own Dragon Ball Z.
Hey
Oh,
man,
no.
look, everybody that's like in their late 20s right now, like all of us at some point tried to recreate Dragon Ball Z. It is what it is. Like that's
Yes,
just
man.
that was just
I mean,
the vibes, man.
Yeah, like the whole entire thing of Dragon Ball Z AF or whatever, that was just fanfic. Like,
That was just fans.
Yeah.
That was
Oh,
just
the
exactly-
abridged. Yeah. The
that was
abridged
just,
series.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Where they
I
had you
missed that,
thinking
man.
Super Saiyan 7 was gonna be a thing, and you're just like,
Exactly.
oh, look at all that
Yes.
hair, and he's just a monkey with the
Look at all
tail,
that hair.
right? I'm just like, oh, okay. I'm excited.
Seriously.
Never happened.
No,
Oh, look,
it never happened.
I want to flip the script on you, Chad. You,
Uh-oh.
Josh, and Demetrius.
Oh no.
So-
I'm in this.
You know what? Since you guys like background as far as educational wise is not film or
For sure.
even art period, because all of you in a way have that creative thing that I be pulling out of you all the time. So what was y'all like introduction like into film, or if it was later on, like maybe last year that you really got into it, or when you were younger, you just always loved it, but you just knew it was something that, hey, I'm gonna let the people who know what they doing do that. So what was y'all little segue into that?
I could go if y'all. So when I was younger, I went to the Blockbuster, so I've seen all the Blockbuster movies, but I would make my own stories. So I would make these stories, funny stories, like comedically funny stories. And I did it all because because me and my brother we were just coming up with just funny things to come up. So I'd come up with 3 pages worth of just like a good story and stuff, and it would be hilarious. And I thought, oh, hey, maybe I can do that. And then like, I realized how much stuff goes into it, and I was like, maybe that's not where I want to go. But I do I like writing. Like, and when it comes to writing, I can write for days. Like, I'm good at that. But it's just all the other stuff. I was like, yeah, I'll leave that to somebody else. Like, if you need a backup writer or a proofreader, I'm your dude. I got you. But
Hey, look,
That's
we
what's up.
finding something out new about the
That's what I'm
man.
saying. I
They're
didn't
hiding
even
that
know.
from us.
I didn't
Hey,
even know,
Look,
man.
it took for you to get on the podcast for Demetrius to tell us he was a writer, man.
Yeah.
See? Didn't
You
even
never
know.
brought it
yeah, and
Yeah.
during I didn't really get like a really good at love for writing until I liked it, but I didn't really get really technical with it until like college, like when I took an English class. Like it was a English hybrid combination class, and all she wanted us to do was discover how our writing voice was, like, what that is. And once you discover what that is, you can write whatever about anything. I can write a paper about or write anything about anything right now. I just got to know what it is and like how to do it. But once you find your voice, it becomes easy to do things like that. So after
Yeah.
that, I became like this person that would just type up stuff, and I would just type all kind of stuff up that I would like to do. I don't have any of it anymore because old computer, but I would just type like I wish I still had the notebook. I had this notebook where I was coming up with a fantasy story. And yeah, I was coming up with a fantasy story, and I just never figured out how to make the world work. And I was just trying to figure out how to do it, but I might get back to it. I might.
Demetrius, you should have never told me that.
Ah, darn. You're gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna try to figure out how to get back into it. It's just
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, it's just all the technical world building and all that stuff that I'm just like trying to figure out how to do, because I'm a novice. I'm not gonna say I'm like the person that knows how to make worlds and stuff, but like I have an interest in it and I think I can do it. It's just I just need time to think about it.
It's difficult. I'll tell you that. It is very difficult.
Mhm.
It's a lot of trial and error. You end up either looking at other examples from other series that are really good at their world building, and then you also look at some bad examples of some other series that are not good at the world building. God, I don't know if I'm allowed to talk shit about other writers, but
The floor is yours, man. Do what you want with it.
Dune, great example of near perfect world building, because you basically find a commodity. The entire book, the entire world of it is all built on this one bit of dirt, and it's the spice melange. And that's in the whole entire, and like the greatest line of that entire series is, he who controls the spice controls the universe, because everybody needs it.
Yeah.
And that's an amazing thing. And then everything else inside that series is just marketing. The worms are marketing. The fighting is marketing. The whole third eye chakra bullshit, like all that is marketing. Bad world building is stuff like Hunger Games. Its entire basis, the entire basis of its plot is stolen from a Japanese book, Battle Royale.
Got you. I knew.
Oh, okay.
I lost all respect for the girl who wrote.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, look, I can understand if you took, because we all stand on the shoulders of giants. Everybody,
sure.
like everybody, every story has been told. But for your world building to be blatantly playing into this whole dystopian thing, it almost makes me look at it and just go, you just tried way too hard. Like if you want to build a good world, you have to have, like Blade Runner, good world building. You are given scant information of why everything is the way it is, but it's also left up to the audience to automatically know why everything is the way it is.
Yeah.
Because that first movie takes place in 2019.
Is that not crazy? I was watching
That's
it the
fucking
other day.
crazy.
I was like, bro,
Wow.
this is
I sat
not
there,
what
I'm like,
2019
wait,
is like.
whoa. Like either Ridley had a really bleak outlook on humans, or he's onto something. But no. And then 2049. You're meant to understand that, yes, we will do this to ourselves. Now, of course, I think is that a bit overdone? Yes. I'm tired of hating humans whenever I watch a science fiction dystopia movie or
pretty
television
much.
show. I'm so fucking tired of hating people, especially with the work that I'm doing. I almost make it where, yes, it is dystopia, but it has utopian appearances. And I feel like dystopia is not, it doesn't have to be the world. It can be a state of mind, because
Yes.
and this was a surprise, but maybe the rebels that you follow a lot in the show are not actually good people. And maybe the people that have been chasing these rebels, the established order, are the good people. They are the people that are trying to keep everything together.
That's crazy, because I saw a video saying something like, what if the Empire is actually right this whole time?
Yeah. And you find that out in like the old book, in like the old novels and shit, because now I think they are canon again. The Yuuzhan Vong, when the Yuuzhan Vong came at the end of 30 years after Return of the Jedi and just basically fucked up the entire galaxy. The Empire is just sitting there looking at the rebels. The rebels, oh hell, but oh yeah, we would have loved to with our 2 Death Stars and 25,000 Star Destroyers, but no, you had to pitch a fit and and take half of that, use that to fight these guys. But now these guys are throwing meteors at your planets, killing Chewbacca. Like Chewbacca fucking dies in that series. Just gets hit by a meteor on a moon. Just dies.
Yep.
That's a way to go.
I'm telling you.
Right.
He saves like a ton of people, but let's just, you look at it and it's like, yes, the ends justify the means. That's a big thing in my series. The ends justify the means.
Okay.
And the group that's in my show is called Themis, and Themis is a name from a Greek titan that stood for divine law and order, and she is the like blind justice woman that you see on the top of all the courtrooms with the sword and the scale. But this version of it, instead of the scale being outstretched, it's the sword, and the scale takes the back seat. And the whole government is built on divine law and order. And what humanity is the only thing that matters. We're recovering from a horrible war. Our population's been halved. Our environment is suffering, but we can fix all of that if we abandon everything that made us, that divided us. Now, it doesn't say, it's not like someone with The Giver where it's like, oh, everyone is the same. It's more, yes, there's diversity. Yes, people are different, but it was weird to first do this. But then as time went on, I really understood why it made sense. The ideas of division in things like sexuality, gender, race, all these other things, it's punished severely in the world that I've created. And it's because of, and it's this double-edged sword where it's somewhat because it's not right, but also because it hampers productivity. Society can't be whole if Joe Schmo over here is being sexist towards Linda when she is trying to apply for a job, because it's always like that whole kind of big thing that happened before the beginning of the series is used very loosely. Everyone just says, oh yeah, that type of talk is what led to the upheaval, which is the name of the event. And it's, oh, I know how terrible that was, so I don't want to act like that. So it's like, it's almost like if you kill the ideals, if you eradicate everyone that believed in them, which is essentially what the upheaval did, they'll never resurface again. Because if you control all knowledge, then it will never reach other people.
Yeah.
And it's weird to write that, because then you're really going against the grain, because everyone wants to believe in the rebels. Everyone wants to believe in the underdogs. But I'm tired of that. Like, I'm so sick of that.
I am too. 100%. I feel the same way. And does your story, and I think that's a great way to look at it, to flip a genre on its head, sort of. And another thing that I thought was cool that you mentioned was talking about a dystopian society being looked at as like a cognitive or a mental state of being. So does your story does it have a lot of the visual cues that most would associate with a dystopian futuristic movie?
People are watched. People are looked at. There's robots everywhere. It's high militarization. But it's not even to the point of militarization as in like it's bad. It's like being a part of the military in the world of Opus, which is the name of the series, is it's an honor. It's like a high honor. It resembles that like Napoleonic era of the military, where being a part of the military is this hugely, like respected thing, where it's like you are a part of the army, but you're a part of the greatest force on land. Like you have all this pride and patriotism and nationalism. Since there are no nations in Themis, it's all one gigantic empire. Then you're not just a part of one army, you're a part of the army, like the only army that's out there. And it's, you're out there making sure everyone stays safe and people are watched. There's big social change and vast engineering projects, all of these things that would signal a dystopian world, but there's no trash on the ground. No one's killing each other for a box of Thin Mints. So like there are parts of Opus that exist like that, but it's always made very apparent that they chose to live this way. We tried to help them, but they chose to live this way because they would rather have their old world than live in our new one. And that's just them. And then there's this drug that like allows people to almost live in the old world and they don't want to go back and they don't want to come back to the present. They stay, and it just deteriorates to their mind to the point where they can't tell what's real and what's fake. And it's this horrible narcotic, and it's meant to be my own commentary on how dangerous something like nostalgia can be. Because if someone is way too nostalgic, everyone does that whenever I talk about it. It's dangerous.
Yes. It is.
To be
It
so
is.
wrapped up in
the
what
past.
once was when you weren't even there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it,
Yeah.
like. So let's look at this. So there's this fake rumor going around about the new He-Man series that's on Netflix, saying that He-Man dies in the first episode, and the whole rest of the series is told from the perspective of a black girl. Now that's been false. Netflix, said that's not true.
Okay.
But it's the fact that all these people came out and they were like these He-Man traditionalists. I think I like screamed when I read that, because I'm like, whoever made that up is living in their mom's basement. But like I said,
Traditionalist.
but like it's been off for 40 years. You've all been sitting there just one day for
The
it to come
year.
back.
with waiting with Cheeto dust on their fingers, and
I know,
Yes.
like you
My
fucking
time to
keyboard warriors. Like
Keyboard
it's
warrior.
just, you have no right. Half of you weren't even alive then.
Yeah.
Can't say that. Like it's like if I like it's hearing about them doing Gundam, right?
For sure.
Like that new Gundam series coming out. Netflix is doing a live action movie. Okay, that's fine. They can do it. They have the money to do it. Am I gonna like it? I don't know. Do I like the old stuff? I do. But I can't have a say on what they do with it, because I can't say, oh man, I was there when it first came out. No, I fucking wasn't. I grew up on it, yeah. But I'm not as invested as other people are. You can't be so nostalgic about something and stake claim to a series and not want to embrace change, because that's the core of being nostalgic. You don't want to embrace change. You want to go back to a time when you thought it was better. Everyone says, oh man, Stranger Things is so cool. Like Stranger Things is it was such an awesome time to be alive. No, the fuck it wasn't.
The stuff in the show is the best part of the 80s. Like the stuff that the video games, that's the best part of the 80s. Everything else is like,
games, the D&D, like I don't even know if the African American kid in there would have been as good of friends with them if they were being true to them.
Dude,
I'm telling you,
Like,
not in no Indiana.
No, Indiana. Oh, he would not have been in the same neighborhood as them. You know that's for damn sure.
No, but people like gloss, and that's the thing about nostalgia, right? Because you wear these rose-colored glasses and you glaze over all the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's true.
And
there's no way in hell he's going to the same school.
It's awesome.
Even though segregation's not a thing anymore,
it's still
very
Indiana
much there.
back then. It was terrible. It was terrible. And see, that's funny because when I use nostalgia, when I was writing something, I think we had to write like a pitch for a show. If we were making a show, that was like my final project, my last semester.
Do you have Ethan Tennessee for that class?
No, it was a young dude. Like literally, we were the same age, and it was so
crazy.
cool. Cause like we could talk about stuff in class and know what it was, and all like the younger kids were like, "What the fuck are they?" So basically, I had wrote a pitch for a live action static shock show, but I took it and I set it in the 90s, but I didn't put it in the 90s because I love the 90s. That's when I was around. I was a kid. I put it in the 90s because the comic book came out in the early 90s. So for me, the story always felt like it was more rooted to that time than it would be now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a way of nostalgia where no, I'm not doing it because of the time period. I'm doing it because the story
because it's relevant. Because it's relevant.
Because it's more relevant of the things that were going on at the time. And it'll make the character's growth and development and everything better than trying to put him in this day and time, because all the stories are going to be the same as everything else. So I was like, okay, let me go. And this is like you said, Chris, I was like, let me go and actually do my research, because even though I was alive during this time, I was like 5, 6, 7. So I'm not going to remember like things like what was going on with the presidents and in neighborhoods and stuff, because I was a kid.
Yeah.
So I had to figure that out, because I was like, if I'm gonna put a teenager in this time period, I want him to feel I want to understand what it was like for them to grow up during that time. So like you said, when you do it like that way, you kind of use it as like a crutch, but you just using it to kind of, like Demetrius said, build your world.
Yeah.
And I think that's how nostalgia should be used. It should be used as like a world building element, not like to push the whole show or movie forward, because when you do that, man,
It's lazy.
it's some terrible stuff that comes out when that happens, and it's becoming like a fad now, and it's
like I remember when they did the live action of Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I felt
Exactly.
especially offended by that. I felt
no.
especially offended by that because I came up with that series.
Yep.
I loved that series,
Mhm.
and I watched it from start to finish. So I felt I had a right to be offended because I was just like, how could you mess this up this bad? Like, you had an opportunity to just take your time, properly ethnically cast everyone. Granted, there is the issue that nobody will go and see it because nobody famous is in it, but also nobody famous was in it to begin with.
Yeah.
Like Dev Patel was in it, but I love Dev Patel and everything else he's ever been in, except for this. I can't wait to see him in Green Knight. That's gonna be fucking amazing. But is Prince Zuko
No.
Fire Nation's India now? Okay. That's not how it is, but okay.
It's like you had the whole show there. You had the whole entire show. All you had to do is accurately adapt it from the material. It's right there. It's in your hand.
They tried to squeeze, what was it? How many seasons was it?
It's 4 books.
Like 3.
4
4
books.
They tried to squeeze it all in one movie. Like, bro, you can't do that. It's not possible.
Was it like wasn't it like an hour and a half to 2 hour movie? Like it was like
and then they have like Azula. They have Azula at the end acting like they're about to get a second movie. Man, get that fucking shit out of here. You're not about to get a second.
You ain't getting no second sequel. You're not getting no sequel.
Second shit. And look, I'm not going to talk shit about M. Night Shyamalan because he is a very skilled director. See, I put M. Night Shyamalan in the same category as Zack Snyder. They are both very skilled directors. And also, to the point, they're there, I am not. And I need to respect the fact that they have gotten a lot further in their career. Granted, they're older, but also they're a lot further in their career than I am. Yeah. And I respect them as filmmakers.
Most definitely.
I am almost certain that if a gun was put to their head and they said, and the person said, tell a story, they would both be dead. Because they cannot tell a story to save their fucking life. They just overwrite.
And put a twist at the end.
Right? Oh my God. It's just, and, you know, like, M. Night Shyamalan wants to make everything a twist. And then, which only worked once in The Sixth Sense. That only worked once. Like, I got that. Oh, he's dead too?
Yeah.
And then, you know, like the whole like thing, like, oh my God, that's an awesome twist. But then if you do it for every fucking movie,
think about think about The Happening, like that movie.
Don't even.
Yeah, I had to bring it up. We had to talk about that. We had to talk about when we talk about him. We got to talk about that movie because
that's the Mark Wahlberg one, right?
The one where he's just staring off
through people that way. When I'm talking to people, they'll just go, "Hey, did you hear about this? What?
What?
No, what? Oh, come on!
Did you hear about the bees?
Oh my God!
What? No. I literally just said no. Like, God.
Like that is his whole. That's his acting. That's it. That's all he does.
That's it for him.
Actor, but that was just such an awful movie.
It was. Yeah. It was. The twist was so bad.
It was really bad. It was awful.
At one point
and like it was trying to be this social commentary about like us, how we treat Mother Nature and stuff. But dude, Mother Nature is not gonna fucking kill us. like Godzilla 2014 is more of an allegory for how we treat the Earth than fucking or King of the Monsters. King of the Monsters is more of an allegory on how we treat the Earth than fucking The Happening. Yeah, The Happening as in, it's not happening. Fucking burn that shit and never make another one. And then with Zack Snyder, like I watched that Army of the Dead recently. I felt like I wasted a grand total like 2 hours of my life. I will never.
I was
damn, it wasn't good.
Look, it's confusing, man. It's
confusing. And there's a character in that thing, like the little daughter, Get rid of that character. She was so bad. I didn't like her character because she was like, if you don't take me here, I'm gonna go myself. I'm like,
so look, this is my theory about that movie. I think that Zack Snyder like just shitted on the zombie genre, and he basically, because this is what I think they are. I don't even think those are zombies. I think they're like animatronic like robots.
Oh
or
yeah,
something
because there's that little thing.
when they
yeah.
shot the zombies,
Mhm.
like electricity
Yeah,
was flying out of like their skulls and shit. And
I got a thing about
so,
it. Oh, go ahead.
what's up?
So he
No,
said
no.
that. Okay, so he said, I think I saw it. It was either an interview or something like that. He said that some of them evolved to a certain point to where like headshots weren't going to work on them anymore. So that's what they were. Those ones that were like
Fucking dumb.
robotic, that was what they
That's
were.
so fucking
See, that's
dumb.
dumb.
Like he
Like,
tried
that's
to
a
give
zombie
he tried to
movie.
give them their own like society and shit.
Yeah, like a
Like one of them was
baby.
pregnant. One of them
Yeah,
was
oh
pregnant.
my
yeah,
I
that was
checked
that was
out after
strange.
that. I fucking and then every time he makes a movie, his shots are it is everything else is out of focus. He uses
Yeah.
this shitty lens. He uses this shitty 4.3 aspect ratio that I,
Get it
for the
out.
life of me, cannot stand. And it's again, I will be humble and I will say he is there. I am not, but he rests on his laurels like it's a goddamn lawn chair. Like he says, "Oh, I made 300. Oh, I made Man of Steel. I can do whatever I want." You can never let a director get that powerful. You can never let a director be
Yeah,
that
that's
pompous.
true.
And the fact that
That's
he
true.
got to release the Snyder Cut, he is going to have the biggest fucking ego the world has ever seen.
No doubt.
Completely.
Yeah,
No
definitely.
doubt.
Yeah, there's no
No
way around
doubt.
that.
He's gonna
And
be
I
on
can't
some
respect
Christopher
that.
Nolan
Yeah.
type shit.
No doubt.
Yeah.
And speaking of the
I will-
Snyder Cut,
I will defend Christopher Nolan till the day I die. That man is a genius.
No,
But
he's a
he does have
genius.
he does have
Yeah.
a bad ego. But see, that's the
Yes.
no,
difference
he
between him and
does.
Zack
He
Snyder.
does too. Yeah.
Zach is not a genius.
Yeah.
Zach is a
He-
competent director who knows how to shoot a movie. He does not know how to tell a story.
So with you saying that, my question is because me and Chad were talking about this the other day, and since like we write, we know about storytelling. Like, how do y'all feel about like how they try to take things like okay, I'm gonna just use Batman as an example because it's been done so many times. So how do you feel about like sometimes when they try to redo a story and it works in like the real world, or when they try to make it like a Zack Snyder and his whole interpretation of Batman? Do you think it's more like the writers and the studio and directors' fault than it is like the people who play in the character or the character itself? Because I always feel like whenever people say it was a bad Batman film, I was like, it's not Batman, it's the people who don't.
No,
get
yeah,
that's in the
it totally
hierarchy.
lies in it totally
Yeah.
lies in the fault in the lap of the director and the writer and the producer. And when the director is also the writer, they control so many aspects of that production where every decision they make themselves. And it's bad when because there's just so much overriding and they're making all these different decisions. Like I remember for the longest time I could not stand The Last Jedi. But then I went and I saw Knives Out, which was directed and written by Rian Johnson.
Oh my goodness, that's an amazing movie.
And I literally now put it on just for ambiance in the background.
Yes.
because I
Yes.
love the way it looks. I love
And
the
now
way
I
it's
love The
shot.
Last Jedi because of that.
Yeah,
I
and now
love it.
because I realized what
Yes.
he was trying to do, and he was just not given. And everyone has issues. Everyone has like, their little blunders they do,
Mhm.
but there's not even blunders. Like it's just your interpretation. Do I think that the only thing that I got out of the Last Jedi was how fucking toxic the Star Wars fan base can be. It is so uncomfortably
it's
toxic
bad.
sometimes
Yeah.
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
I am almost uncomfortable to say that I'm Star Wars because what they
Yeah.
did to that poor Kelly Marie Tran,
Oh my
that is
goodness.
so
That was
off
terrible.
the wall.
Yeah, that was
like
That was
worse.
terrible.
I ended 2 friendships because of that. Because
Mm.
one of my friends actively went on her account and said, "Your bitch of a character should never have been put in that thing." And I
Wow.
saw him comment this,
Whoa.
and I'm like,
Whoa.
he goes, "Dude, I'm a hardcore Star Wars fan." I'm like, "No, you're not. You're just a
No,
fucking
you're
jerk."
you're the
Yeah.
worst, man.
You're a
Like,
jerk.
That's
man.
terrible. That's terrible.
And like,
Like-
it's the same thing people did for Game of yeah, be mad, but it's called a bittersweet ending for a fucking reason. It's
Yeah.
bitter
Yeah.
because it ended, but it's sweet because it happened.
Yeah.
Be
I
happy
agree.
that you got something. Like
Yeah.
that's what I always think about because like even people in my own group, they say we can put you in any room and you can make anybody believe in this project. But under no circumstances are you to be on a panel at any type of a con because you will more than likely get into it with a fan and they say, "Oh,
Chris, somebody
yeah.
would like
Oh,
be
I
trying
would.
to charge
I
the
would."
stage at you.
because I would get up, I would point at my chair, I'll go, "Then you do my job. smart guy. You do what I have to do.
I like it. That's cool.
Nah, I feel
And
that.
I'm not going to tell you to shut up. I value your opinion. But look, I am only interested in your time from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
When my show comes on. After 10 o'clock, I don't give a shit what you do.
Yeah.
And it's my interpretation for now. It will of course change years later. I've just been told so many times, because it goes back to what we're talking about with the directors and fan bases, and especially you, Marcus, how you perceived Batman. You're like, it wasn't the Batman, it wasn't the guy who played Batman's fault, it was the director or the writer or someone else. How the fans perceive things is important. You do need the fans, but you can never let the fans dictate how you write and how you create something. You can never let them do that. I can have my opinions on Zack Snyder or M. Night Shyamalan, but you can't let them dictate how you write. You can't let them tell you to do your job, because as a writer myself and as someone who wants to see their shows in a big space where lots of people watch them and love them, I never in my life want to be told what to do by Martin Scholl from Indiana, at Comic-Con. Oh, maybe you should do this differently. Yeah, I'll take your word for it, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, you need to understand that there is a divide between us. I am neither. We are on the same plane. I am neither higher or lower than you. But there is a big wall between us. It's a glass wall. You can see me. I can see you. But there's no way you're getting over it.
Yeah.
There's no way you're getting over it. There's no way you're getting under it. There's no way you're getting around it. You are there. I am here.
Yeah.
And there's a door there that only I have access to. And I can come to you when I want to talk to you. But you can't come to me. You can't break in and tell me how to do my job.
Yeah.
And I've been told that, like, people will like you for that. And I just said, yeah, some. The rest of them, I think they'll respect me for that. Because I'm not about to get told what to do. I already have people well above my head telling me what to do.
Yeah.
Telling me what I need to do and how I need to do it. Do you really think I need you telling me? Nothing against you.
I don't need to hear from you too.
Over here.
Yeah,
that's why I respect you. Go ahead, Josh.
I was gonna say I don't need Jim from Toys R Us to show me or teach me how to make a book.
I think you can dislike something, but at the same time, you can't change anything. You can be like, oh, I disliked how you did that character. But at the end of the day, you just got to keep moving on. You're like, okay, shit, what am I going to do? Tell them to remake the movie for me? No.
Yeah. Like, people feel so entitled, especially when it's something they feel so close to. And back to Game of Thrones. People felt so entitled because you spent like a maximum of like $300 over the course of, I don't know, 10 years on 3 watch parties that you ever had for like the one episode you felt you needed to have what that you spent over $50 for pizza that you didn't even eat for the long night. Like, really? Like, you're getting that mad over? Dude, I felt it ended perfectly. It was a perfect ending for what they could do and what they were given. Yeah, they could have done a few things better. Yeah, David Benioff and DB Weiss, they could have been a bit more competent here and there, but they brought us an amazing show, and they'll forever be I'll forever be grateful for what they gave us. And I'll forever be grateful for what all those actors and actresses gave us.
Yeah.
To read about how messed up poor Kit Harington was after that show ended, the withdrawal he went through, where his whole life for the past 10 years just ended.
It's done. Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
And thank God he has a kid to fill his life now. And him and her, they're so adorable. They're so cute. But it's just, you have to understand that, and I know I'm going to get hate for this from years down the line, but it's not yours.
Yeah.
Like, the project, the movie, the TV show, everything, it's not yours. It never was. It will never be. It is theirs. It's in their name. The copyright's in their name. The trademark's in their name. The estate is in their name. You are there to enjoy it. You can have your opinion. You can have you can say anything you want, but it will never be yours.
Yep.
And that is such a hard pill for people to swallow, because they want it to pander to them, or they want their feelings to be kept intact. But it's a shame. But sometimes they're not kept intact and they're not respected. And that's just how it is. I will always aim to respect the people that watch my stuff or that enjoy my films or enjoy my TV shows, enjoy my work, but I'm never going to dance to their tune, because if I do, then I am betraying myself.
And that's why I always say, I write what I want to write, not because somebody else says something. Like I was telling Kristen one time, I'm working on I want to write a Western, and I feel like everybody else, why do you like Westerns? They're the same story, it's boring, or it's nothing but a bunch of old white guys and guns. I was like, that's not what kind of Western I'm going to write, because a Western could be anything.
There is a black Western coming out on like
Netflix. I just seen it. Demetrius showed me the other day. That cast is ridiculous. Like, I love it.
That's a huge cast.
Yes. So, and see, that's the kind of thing that I like what I'm working on. Like, I'm setting it with the female lead, and she's out for revenge, because I feel like women don't get enough revenge stories. Like, I can only name like one good one that I can think off the top of my head, and that's Colombiana with Zoe Saldana.
That was good.
Yeah. And see, and that's what I wanted to do with a Western, because I was like, I feel like in Westerns, women always get like the back seat, or either they like the damsel in distress, or if they are one of the outlaws, they get killed.
Or they always sound like this. Y'all come in and eat now.
Yeah,
like,
you know what I'm saying?
They always sound like gold up in the hills. It's always like this,
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm finna flip it. I'm finna flip the status quo and make that, transition. And it's crazy, Chris, because how I got the ideas, I literally was listening to a song. And it's a song.
Was it Proud Mary?
No. It's from Quentin Tarantino's Django Unchained film.
Oh yeah,
it's his name is Kane. I forget.
His name's Kane.
He had so I took the song exactly. I took that song and I wrote the lyrics down, and everywhere where it was like him or he, I flipped it to she, and I was like, you know what? This would be like a dope ass movie if you just made it a female character, put her out for revenge, set it in like. I said it like during that whole time of like outlaws after the abolishment of slavery. So it's like a lot going on. It's an interesting time in America. And you get to see people going around killing, freeing. Like I kind of got ideas from like playing Red Dead, Redemption 2, just all the Westerns I've watched. But I feel like that's one of the genres it didn't die off. It's not dead, but like people don't respect it as much and give it its props, because it's embedded in a lot of films more than you think. Just Blade Runner. I always tell people Star Wars is the biggest Western that I've ever watched in my life.
Oh yeah,
that's a straight Western. Yeah, you got movies like Logan, No Country for Old Men.
Ooh,
that's so good.
That's that movie.
So it's like it's there. That's why I always tell people you don't even realize that you watching a Western, because you don't see cowboys and Native Americans and the
whole message is so integral to like storytelling, especially even like samurai films. Like I recently watched Seven Samurai, and that whole concept of just the one versus many, or the unlikely band of heroes that eventually all come together. Because Seven Samurai is basically Akira Kurosawa's Kurosawa, I think that's how you say it. It's his version of the Magnificent Seven, and it is such a wonderful story. And you feel so attached to it. Of course, it's 4 hours long, but and it's a lot of like looks, and they just don't say anything. They'll say one thing, and then it'll be like, let's keep walking, and I'm just like, what did I miss? You can't turn your head away, because then all of a sudden it's oh God, Jesus Christ, what did I miss? Like, but what was I about to say? It's basically like standing on the shoulders of giants again with these genres, especially with science fiction and Westerns, and how so important Westerns are. I feel like people, and even your thing of writing a Black Western. I remember I saw like a comment for the Black Western that's coming out on Netflix. I saw a comment for it on YouTube, and I feel like you already know where this comment's going. It's just and like I think his name was like underscore Uribe Chad 15, and it was like, I hate woke Hollywood.
Ah,
And it was like
Oh, here we go.
violating the Western genre with this type of casting when there were never any notable black outlaws. I just sat there. I was like, for shut
wow.
up.
Like for
Wow.
real, man.
Shut up.
Jesus.
I guess.
The great Dave Chappelle. Oh, here's another controversial thing. You could shut the fuck up and get out of my face with this shit.
Yeah.
Because you can't. Is a people just say like, oh, they're just violating the Western and like, you know, they're writing it because everybody else is woke. No,
Nah.
it just fits the story.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're not writing it to get anywhere. They're not writing it to push an agenda.
Because that was
or act like
literally
they're pushing an agenda.
that was literally a time where people was really doing whatever they wanted to, like black,
Yeah.
white, Native American, Asian.
Yeah, it's called
Nobody
the
cared what
Wild
color
West
you.
for a
Yeah, nobody
reason.
cared what color you were.
Right.
You was a criminal, no matter what color you were. You was an outlaw, no matter what color you were. It
just
didn't
mattered.
matter.
It just mattered who was quicker to draw, man. Like, that's what
Exactly.
mattered. Like it didn't
Nobody
matter.
cared.
It's like, oh, got you.
Your color didn't dictate how fast you were on the draw.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That is for goddamn sure. Like your
Like, for
color
real.
did not dictate that.
It only matters.
Your gender, your color, your race, all was equal when guns were out. It's just, I feel like I'm going to be controversial yet again. But to quote Eric Andre, why would you say something so controversial yet so brave? Like, I hate when someone writes something, they pander, and it's for a specific purpose. Like, it's for the purpose of getting good with a certain crowd. And
Ooh.
there is
Mhm.
there
Yeah.
there is no other person in the entire industry that I think is more of a culprit than of this than Joss Whedon.
Oh my gosh! You just said
You
it,
are
man.
hitting all the good points.
You just said it, man.
Like,
whew.
He is
Y'all see why this my dude now, man.
he is like the Oceans. He's like the Oceans team all wrapped up into one when it comes to, you know, stealing the support of an entire
Right.
group away from them.
Oh my
Because-
gosh.
Straight up.
This and I've recently realized this. And I felt this from day one. I hate Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I think it's a shit show. And not because
Controversial.
the cast or because it's what it's about. I just think the acting's poor, the
Okay.
camera work
Agreed.
is poor,
Yeah.
I
and
never liked that show.
you know, and yeah, I never liked it either. I didn't even Serenity, Firefly, or whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah.
You know,
gosh, right.
Like
Yeah.
everyone's like, oh, they love it because it's a cult classic. Yeah, but cult classics don't really last that long.
That don't mean they good, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it's a cult classic. It's Rocky Horror Picture Show is a cult classic, and I can't watch it without wanting to just watch something else. And I recently realized this because I wanted to watch Joss Whedon's The Nevers, and I was like, okay, this looks okay. Yeah, I might watch. And then all that controversy about him comes out about what he said to Gal Gadot. And look,
Yeah.
Gal Gadot can't act. Let's all be
At
honest
all.
here. She
Oh,
can't.
yeah.
Yeah.
But does that rob
obvious.
her? But does that rob her of being a decent person? No, she is a decent person.
Yeah.
I feel like she's a very good person. I feel like she's very nice. I feel like she's perfect for Wonder Woman, given the
Yeah.
fact that she can't act, but she plays the role.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do I think that she deserved everything that Joss Whedon said to her? No, I feel like that's very
No.
rude. And I
Yeah.
feel like they were really sleep on Ray Fisher, looking at him as just a disgruntled employee.
Yes.
He was
Mhm.
the one blowing the lid off of this thing. And they were
Year
like,
for
no,
years.
you just need to
Yeah.
shut up. You need to shut up.
Yeah.
But then he felt vindicated when, you know, all that other stuff came out.
Mhm.
But when all that came out, I began to see the trend in Joss Whedon's work with the Nevers, because as I watched it, I began to realize I paused it at every moment that I knew he was pandering to someone. From the first episode, the pilot, the most important episode of your series, next to your finale, I did not get 20 minutes in before I had stopped, I think, a grand total of 19 times.
Jeez Louise. God.
He panders because he
Ugh.
knows it works. He does not write an all-women cast because he wants to empower women or make women feel strong. He writes it because it sells.
Money.
And I think that is so fucking disgusting.
It
Because
is.
he would never, so he's not someone that believes in women empowerment and female empowerment, because he wrote Buffy so that women would talk to him.
Really?
Because look at
Yeah.
this guy.
I remember we learned somebody
know
told me that in college.
I didn't know that at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
He wrote Buffy the Vampire Slayer because he couldn't get a date
Yep.
because of the way he looks. You ever see the way this guy fucking looks? I know that's rude. I know I shouldn't bring looks into it, but dude, wear a hat.
Damn.
Just gotta leave
Jesus
that alone.
Christ, like it's just all gone up here. But dude, like, it also because he just has a shit personality from what I've heard.
So the Nevers is Josh Whedon. That's his show?
Yes.
No wonder
And it's
I
not-
didn't watch another episode of it. I watched one episode and I haven't watched it since.
I haven't
knew
even
it was
heard of
something.
it, man.
I knew it was something about that.
Yeah, and
It's
yeah.
basically like he tried to make his own version of the X-Men.
Yeah.
A very
Oh,
shitty version of
no.
it. Yeah.
Set in
very
like the
shitty
Victorian
version.
era where witches and
Yeah.
magic and white men who hate women want to destroy the. It's the same fucking
It's-
thing.
No. So that's literally the plot. Is like literally as you're
That's the
saying it.
plot.
Like
the villain
literally.
is an old white British man.
No,
Oh.
seriously. Like in the first
Oh.
episode, they already established all of that before you even get into the show. So it's, this
Where's
is
the mystery?
There
Like
is
they
none.
like the way the people get their powers is because a alien ship flew over London and it touched certain people and they're called the Touch, and that's how they got their
Oh
ability.
no.
Wait, I think I have heard
What a
of it.
horrible, what
I
a
have heard
horrible
of this.
name.
Yeah.
I think about it. I
The
heard of it.
touch.
Yeah.
The Touch.
Touch.
Like, oh
I
yeah,
touched
I got
you.
touched.
I got the touch, man.
So
Oh,
yeah,
man.
Touch. It's like-
Chris, I did not know that was his show because I was watching it because okay, let me check this out. You know,
off of it because he'd been
Right.
working on it for 3 years. They kicked him off of it because of all the allegations against him from all the
Yeah.
other people
Yeah.
for sexual assault. And then now that they're doing a Firefly remake, he's not a part of it.
yeah,
Okay.
That was
man.
his baby.
Yeah.
that show is trash. That is a terrible
Mm.
show.
And I'm trying to
Oh.
write this. In the Nevers was a new IP. It was a brand new IP.
Yeah,
And they took a chance on it because I was fortunate enough to speak with the head of HBO's programming, Casey Bloyd, when I pitched my series to him. And unfortunately he passed, but he gave me the greatest no I could have ever asked for because he says, look, the only reason I'm telling you no is that you don't have a built-in fan base. And that's what's important. You need to have that proof of concept because if I were to say yes and put you in front of a finance committee, you would be ripped to shreds. Because they would ask you all these questions about how you're going to make money. And I have all these ideas about how it's going to make money, but they need to have that proof because we tried that with Joss Whedon and it didn't work out.
yeah.
We can't market that thing. We
It
can't
is-
even we can't even make a fucking Funko Pop because it did not
Nothing.
get enough. It did not get
Wow.
enough traction.
Dang, not even a
Mm.
Funko Pop? That's
No,
bad.
it's
That's bad.
nothing behind that show. No kind of merchandising, like,
So,
No,
and that's why
nothing.
you don't even know about it because it
Yeah.
didn't do good.
so it's on HBO, right? Is that what you think?
Yeah, so HBO
Okay,
Max.
because I
like-
got to see how bad the train wreck is. I'm one of those people. I got to see how bad the train wreck is. So I might have to just see the first.
And like they
episode
put
just to
steampunk in it for some reason, and I'm
Oh,
just like,
yeah, it's
Ah.
Overused, man.
It's terrible, bro. It's man. So hey,
for 1 year, 2010. That's all it was, and then it died. It just doesn't make sense when. And then like I talked to him about this. I was just like, so it was nothing else. He goes, no. You have a solid story. You have solid characters. You're obviously writing about some of this stuff because you're passionate about it, not because you're pandering. And I can applaud you for that. We're being acquired by Discovery right now. Maybe the Discovery execs want more original content, and if they do, you'll be the first person I call. But I can't just do that right now because I want to do you a disservice. And I'm sitting there. This is the best no I could have ever gotten.
right? Like you said, you wanted
Like, I
my
walked
stuff.
out of this with way more than I got.
Yeah.
So,
He's doing a rebuild
Yeah.
of his team in 2 years, not even 2 years, in 1 year. And if he has space, he wants myself and the rest of my group on his team.
that's
And I'm
awesome.
like,
Yes,
real.
man. That's a delayed.
This
yes.
is the delayed. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's what that is.
Yeah.
That's in the
Basically.
because all I
bag.
have to do is either come back with somebody who's famous enough to generate their own fan base, or I go write a book, sell 1 million copies, and then
Boom.
just slap it on his desk
Boom.
and like be
Be
like,
like, here you
back.
go.
Hey, because I ain't gonna lie, Chris. I've been thinking about that lately. I was like, maybe I should write a book about one of my projects first.
it's
And
either going to
then-
be you either need to find a book that you really like and get in bed with the author, but make sure
Yeah.
it's an author that's living, because from what
Yeah.
I've heard, you never want to deal with grandsons or granddaughters or sons
Yeah,
or
I'm
daughters
sure,
of
I'm
estates
sure.
because
Mm.
they are fucking vicious.
Yeah.
Like
I
if you've
know.
seen Knives Out, that's how it is.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, man.
Every
I keep
last one
telling
of
them
those
they gotta watch
families-
Knives Out, man.
Every last one of those families has those children.
Yes.
Ooh.
It is not.
man.
It is not an exaggeration. It is pure
Yes.
truth.
Demetrius, go watch Knives Out, and when you watch it, you're gonna give Ryan Johnson a little bit of slack about The Last Jedi, because you're gonna see, okay, it wasn't totally his fault. I see what he was trying to do. Like you really gonna understand it more when you watch that movie of what he was trying to do, and that's why I was always so upset with them bringing back J.J. Abrams, because it's kind of like he's shitting on Ryan Johnson.
Yeah,
And we all
Yeah,
know,
which
we
was
all
just
know he
very
can't finish.
unprofessional.
Yeah,
yeah.
and I
JJ,
didn't like that. And we all know he can't finish movies anyway. So
yeah,
that's whatever.
Don't they call him the series destroyer or something like that?
I love JJ just outside of franchises. He makes fantastic standalone. He's a protege of Spielberg, and Spielberg was very notorious for never really finishing anything.
Yeah.
If he ever
did,
did, that's why he stayed away from series. That's why he always did his one-offs, and he's the greatest director of all time, hands down.
He knew what he knew what
his wheelhouse was.
Yeah, he's like, I know,
Yeah,
I'm just
exactly.
good at doing one thing,
And
not series.
and JJ, he can do, because this is the thing, whenever he wants to start a series, he can't finish it because then he's pulled away on all these other projects because he's constantly thinking about new things to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I applaud that, because I want to be in that situation where I can just say, oh, I'm going to do 2 Star Trek movies, and then I don't need to do a third one because I want to go do something else. That's what John Krasinski's doing. He's done 2 Quiet Places, and then now he's handing the reins off to someone else. That's okay. He can do that.
Yeah.
It's just, and he's such an awesome talent too. And it's just really good to see when people really commit, and like in commitment. Like, I can talk shit about Zack Snyder all day, but he committed to that Justice League, his version of Justice League. And another reason why I don't like Joss Whedon is because Joss Whedon came in, destroyed his Justice League,
straight up killed it.
from a professional standpoint. You do not do that to another director.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
Like,
was terrible.
So fucking sleazy
It's so
that
bad.
you just
It's
you can
literally
tell.
a whole different movie.
You can tell when he
goes
goes on. Yeah, you can tell exactly when he picks up the rein and when he drops it. You're like, oh, MCU like happy-go-lucky stuff. All right, back to dark tone.
Let's make Batman make some jokes.
Right?
Oof.
Why is he making me laugh?
Oh. Oh my gosh.
I was like,
what?
that name. I remember when I saw that, I walked out the theater. I
hate
had to
that
watch.
so bad.
I had to watch the rest of Batman versus Superman when it came out on on YouTube, like when stuff came out on YouTube, because I couldn't do that. I couldn't. I literally walked out there and I said, I want my money back.
I want a refund.
I need
All
a
my money.
refund.
I said, that is, I didn't say that is a bullshit film, but I walked out there. I said, look, I almost said I am completely high off my ass and I can't pay attention to this film. But I literally said, look, I've just been going through a lot. I just had I wasn't able to enjoy the movie. Do you think I could have a pass for my time? They're like, oh, sure, sir, of course, here. And I took it. I left. I think
That's
I went back
amazing.
I went back and saw like Isle of Dogs or something like a couple of years later when that came out, and I absolutely loved that. I had the best time in the theater. I just sat there, like me and 4 other people watched Isle of Dogs. I turned my phone completely off. I just sat there and watched. I walked out there and I felt like just life.
That's bad. I've just been going through a tough time. I just saw a horrible movie. Can I get my time back? Like,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
As soon as Batman said,
refunded.
right, as soon as Batman said, I bought the bank. Done. Just walk out the fucking
Or the
I mean,
fact
like that
that-
is something that is something he would do, but you don't look. I think Ben Affleck is great. He may not be a good Batman, but Robert Pattinson, I feel like is going to be a fantastic Batman.
I can foresee it. I think he's going to do pretty good. Like,
yeah, I mean,
can-
Because like,
that
have you
trailer
heard
sold it.
about who else they're getting to be in that cast? So they have, it's unconfirmed, but they supposedly have Daniel Craig as Harvey Dent.
Oh yeah.
And then I
That's
think they're getting, I forget who they're getting, but fuck, who is it? They're getting Dave Bautista as Bane. I think so.
Yeah, I know he
Um,
wants to play Bane. Yeah.
Yeah. He just says he wants anything, and people are like, okay. I want to make a Gears of War movie. I'm like, oh yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, good luck trying to get that.
Good
going.
fucking
Never
luck
happening.
with that,
That's
bro.
never
Like,
happening.
Yeah.
like I love Dave
Shucks.
Bautista and everything. I think he's great, but you can't make a Gears of War movie. You can't do it and have that fucking fan base of monster truck drivers and motorcycle gangs who play that game. And you can't. Who cried when fucking Dom died? And people that said, "Oh, I cry when that happened." I'm like, "You're a bitch. You're a little bitch."
Damn.
Okay.
Like, and these were people that like would not cry when we would sit in class and have to watch excerpts from Schindler's List, because if you're watching that, everyone in that room is crying. Everyone in that room is crying because it just hits your humanity. But these are people that would sit there and just go, like, how can you sit there for something like that of all things and just give this half-ass like little smirk? Oh, it's just a movie. It's the moment I say it's just a game, it's guns out on me for disrespecting the death of your video game character. It's good God, man. Like, people just need to grow up, man. I hate that I'm becoming like such an old man, but people get way too attached to things. And like, yeah, it's okay to be attached, but you gotta let it go. Like, it's that time of your life is past. Have y'all ever heard someone like say they wanted to go back to something? And I hate that we've gone back to nostalgia again, but have y'all ever heard somebody say they want to go back to the way things were, but they're very specific about that time?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't
Like,
know
does
why,
anybody
'cause
have
I
any
don't want to
examples?
go.
Mhm.
I know who was it? I can't remember exactly, but I know, like, I think we was in high school, so I can't remember what it was, but it was like, yeah, I wish I could go back to the times when people were like so free. I think they were trying to say the 70s or something. They was like, and they didn't care. I was like, nah, you don't want to go back to that time,
Nah,
bro.
you're
Like,
good. You're gonna bet. You're right.
it's
You're where
a
it's at right
rough
now.
time. Yeah, and I'll be telling
Like-
people that they be like, "Don't you wish you could go back to like when you was in high school?" I was like, "No,
Oh,
I was stupid.
Hell
I was a
hell no.
dumbass.
I don't want to go
Heck
back to
no.
college.
I was like, I didn't want to go back to college.
I don't want to go back a year or two ago. I'm good.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
I'm good
yeah.
where I'm at
I'm good
now.
right
Feel like-
now.
Feel like yesterday.
Yeah.
Fuck
Back to
that.
8 o'clock this
Exactly.
morning, let alone fucking
Right.
50 years. Like,
Right,
I
like-
once heard someone say, man, I wish I could just go back to Halo 3's release night at GameStop with my friends. I'm like, who
Why?
hurt you? Who hurt you?
I'm telling you.
Like,
Seriously.
what was so good about that time in your life?
Nothing, because you had to stand in line, wait for them to open the door so you could
We
go
were in
get
the middle
game.
of a recession.
No, it was nothing good about that.
The
at
only
all,
thing
man.
good about it was
$50.
that game, man. The only thing good about it was
And
like
that's
getting that
it.
game. That was it.
I'm just like, what's going on in your life right now? Like, you ain't got
like,
nothing.
like your
Nothing
life
you're
ain't good
excited
right
about?
now. Like you're good.
You're
in
not
life?
excited about anything right now, right?
Like
It's
you ain't got a
oh, yeah.
girlfriend or
You know-
you ain't got something going on. Like what's
You're just
happening?
holding on to something that will never exist ever again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it's and on that same. What were you about to say, Joe?
Oh yeah, like I was gonna go back to the topic of like director styles. Like I'm not too much of a film buff, but I actually enjoy Michael Bay's Transformer series.
Oh.
And I realized
Okay.
like, yeah, I've seen like all those movies several times, and I realized like he has like this weird thing he does with he just puts too much light into his shots.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
Mm,
It's like a flare.
yeah.
this is the
Yeah.
thing. I worked on Bad Boys, like the most
Oh.
recent one with him. Okay, sorry. I was just silent. People race up and down like the highway near my house, so I always hear these like their mufflers go off. It sounds like a
Hmm.
gunshot, and I know I don't live in a neighborhood, but I always just want to make sure.
Oh, of course.
And then here comes the sirens. Okay, anyway, but like I worked on Bad Boys Forever with him, and I will say to your point, Josh, he does use a lot of light, but he is also one of the most insufferable human beings that I've ever had to be within the vicinity of. The only saving grace of that entire thing was Martin Lawrence, because every day he would go out of his way to make sure that everybody had lunch, everybody was eating, everybody was fine. Will Smith was super cool. It was cool to be in his general vicinity. He would always walk up to everybody and go, "How's everyone doing? How's everyone doing?" I'm like, God, And then I'll always just say, people would say, "Oh man, you're awesome, you're so cool," and they go, "Man, I loved you in this movie. I loved you in this movie." They would finally reach to. He would always like look around the room and see who's saying stuff to him, and I would never say anything. One time, he looks over to me, and because I was working with like set decoration as a PA, and of course like you're around the stars, so and normally they really don't talk to you. It's only if like you're with one of their assistants and they just join the conversation. And I remember he joined the conversation. We were just talking, and I just go, "Oh, Mr. Smith, I really admire your work. I've always been a great admirer of your work. And I think that my most favorite role was Pursuit of Happiness." And he was like surprised. he was just like, "Oh, okay, well, thank you very much." He would probably thought like, "Oh, I'm Legend," or I Robot, or Hancock, but no, it's the small things. And I know I just went off on a tangent about it, but I do agree. Michael Bay does have overexposure in his movies, but he does it because he feels like, I heard he does it because he doesn't like scene transitions. Like he likes it. He likes it. He likes to let people know that yes, this is all natural light. This is not artificial. Well, no, that is artificial. You're getting a spotlight and you're putting it on Megan Fox's ass as she's working on this car.
Exactly.
Like there's video of you saying, "And if you don't put your ass in that spotlight, I will smack you with this paddle."
Oh.
There's video of him saying that to her on the set of like Revenge of the Fallen. He's, "I'll smack your ass with this paddle." And it's just like, shut your mouth, man.
That's very
I'm surprised, like I'm surprised the Me Too movement never got his ass. I'm surprised they never got him.
Oh man.
Oh man.
No, I never knew any of that about.
Yeah, I just knew he was the guy with the explosions. That's all I knew.
That's it. That's all I know. That's the Transformer guy. Okay.
That's the guy who doesn't know how to make a Transformer movie, and he puts explosions in it. Hey, why are Dinobots here? I don't know. You don't know. Let's put them in here.
Right.
Like,
didn't one of them like go through a pagoda or something? They like hit a pagoda, and the whole pagoda just blows up around them.
Yes.
As they do it. Like all these sparks fly, and I'm like, he didn't even do anything.
And nothing happened.
And then there are these explosions. Like no one fired anything there.
It just explodes around things. I'm like, what?
It'd be like
happens with every scene.
Just
like every time,
just one gigantic landmine.
Yeah, everywhere is a landmine.
Right? You just step
everywhere.
And then I forget who the actor was, but they just killed off that one guy in the beginning of the movie. He just got like frozen or something like that, and I forget which movie it was in, but they killed him off, and it was like with marketing.
They killed Ratchet at the beginning of the movie.
They killed whoever that guy was, and then I was like, that was pointless. Like, why even put him in the movie? He just died all random. I was like, okay, like didn't know much.
And then anyway. There was just this huge plot hole in the first one, because I remember I was sitting there and I saw it on TV the other day, and I'm like, there's nothing else on. This is TNT. I'm not gonna care. Because like it's on TNT like every Sunday, and I'm watching it where they're doing this superficial, "Oh no, the founding fathers knew that fucking Megatron was in the Hoover Dam and they've been here forever." Like I checked out after that one. I was like, I would like to check out my room, please. And I'm sitting there, I'm watching it, and fucking Megatron's like frozen and shit, and I'm like, so you're telling me that the Decepticons never just rushed to like the Hoover Dam and broke Megatron out?
Exactly.
He just
like the Allspark was not the cube or whatever it's fucking called.
It's right there.
You know, it's right fucking there. It's huge as shit, and it's right there. And you're telling me that one helicopter guy that levels an entire army base in the beginning of the movie couldn't have just done that couldn't have gotten Starscream and the other 6 Decepticons that were there
on Earth, exactly,
and just rushed the Hoover Dam and got Megatron out of there before the Autobots ever showed up? Like, you're telling me they never did that?
Nah, they don't know how to do things, man. This is a Michael Bay film. They don't know how to do things.
He's like, "Oh, Starscream. Thanks for breaking me out." Don't worry, Lord Megatron. You got it. It's just, you could have done this so much sooner.
And let's not even talk about Galvatron.
You would have already conquered, man. Like, you would have already conquered Earth. And the moment Optimus Prime and his boys got there, you would have rushed them, killed them, been done with it.
Yep.
But no, you gotta change it. And then in the most recent one, the last night, I think I almost had oh my God. I think
I thought
I was like sitting in an electric chair. I was moving around so much because I was just like, my just faces were, and the people that were watching it with me, they enjoyed my reactions to things more than because whenever I saw, okay, I don't know if y'all ever saw this in the movie, but there's this picture when Mark Wahlberg and what's her face come into that room with Anthony Hopkins, and he just did that for a paycheck. He did that to buy another house.
Mhm.
But he into the stateroom, and it says, "Oh, the Wickens." I'm like, what?
Oh yeah.
And then
they
there's
tried
this
to-
picture of
mhm.
Shia LaBeouf, like one of his many mug shots that he has up there. Which I think it was a mug shot that he actually has in real life. I don't know, but they're just like, oh, they've been here forever, since the dawn of time. And
Yeah.
and then there's this one picture of Harriet Tubman
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
What?
next to an
Yes.
What?
Yes.
You're kidding me. No,
Yes,
they
that
didn't.
is real.
I gotta
That is
watch it
real.
now.
Catch
Oh,
That
I
is
gotta
real.
watch it now.
Railroad. And I'm like,
That
are
is
you
real.
telling me?
Oh,
That is real. That is real.
Okay, so if we're gonna say that the Autobots were on the side
Bro.
of the Union, so we can all say that the Decepticons were racist. There were plantation Decepticons.
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
no.
I
Oh
love
no.
it.
Oh no.
Like,
I
That
forgot how
is
bad that
too
movie
much.
was. I forgot.
Oh
like
how
I
bad it
looked
was.
at my
God.
friend, I said, you have to understand that he is now implicated that there were Decepticons that said the word boy. like get back there, boy. Like there were Decepticons that were racist.
As fuck. Like that's
And then
I
crazy.
mean,
Then there's like
Yeah.
one
Oh,
of like an Autobot that literally looked like a red coat from Great Britain during the Revolutionary War. I'm like, how do you even lose with that thing?
yeah.
Its presence alone would scare the shit out of anybody seeing it.
This is why
Michael
it's
Bay,
why-
man.
This is why he never checked his research. He was, I'm gonna put him in here and say they were there, but I'm not gonna
Oh, yeah.
explain why
And
they
then there
did
are
this.
shots. There are shots from the movies, from the other movies, that he has clipped out and photoshopped into these old pictures. Because there's one of a bunch of biplanes, and there is a shot of Starscream in it that is the exact same shot that this little rover gets from the first movie when they're looking at it. And I'm like, this is the laziest shit I have
I'm
ever
gonna
seen.
watch it just so I can.
I gotta see that.
Not
I
the-
might
And then
have to
and
see
then
that.
there's
didn't
this
even
girl
catch
in
it.
it that it's just, yeah, I fight like a girl. Yeah, I got girl power. It's honey, stop.
Oh, the little girl, like the little girl.
You do zero fighting in this
Yeah.
entire movie.
Yeah, she's just there. She's like literally just there.
You come in at the
Yeah.
end.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
And that's
Let's
Michael
not
Bay.
let's not
for
let's
you
not
all
let's not
folks.
mention the fact that like they had a 2-headed or 3-headed like transformer dragon in the like Middle Ages and shit.
And then it's connected to like the kid. Like,
Merlin.
no, when that movie began, I literally sat there and I was like, am I in the right theater?
You gotta watch that
like,
movie with some alcohol,
And
man.
he straight
Yeah.
up rips. He straight up rips that movie. Like the first half of that movie, he straight up rips it off from Gladiator.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
which I think is so fucking like, how dare you rip off one of the greatest battle scenes in the history of film, just in sheer scale. God bless Ridley Scott for making such a wonderful thing. He's actually Ridley Scott is doing a biopic on Napoleon Bonaparte right now called Knit Bag. And it's like an old saying from like Napoleonic era, but Joaquin Phoenix is supposed to play Napoleon.
Mhm.
So
nice.
that's gonna
That's gonna
be
be good.
really
That's-
good. But yeah, like it's just like Michael Bay as a director, he's a good director. He obviously knows what he's doing. Again, there's the story of bad storytelling.
Mhm.
Because I think he said, yeah, we got a writer's room. We stuffed it with Transformer stuff. We had 13 great writers. You had 13 writers on this?
And that's what you made? And that's
what you came
that's
up
what you oh my god. Fire
with.
them.
13?
Fire them. Fire all
I
of
don't know
them.
what the fuck they were writing.
Oh man.
I don't either.
They were like,
Oh my
no, this is what it was. This is what they did. They were like, we're gonna put a dragon. Oh, but we can't just put a regular dragon. We got to transform the dragon. You got to be like a 3-headed dragon that breathes fire for some reason, and put him in the Middle Ages because that's when dragons were around. Like you can't be.
I'm
modern
watching
day.
this too night.
I'm just,
as soon as I get off here, I'm watching it.
I'm just tripping over the fact that all of those 13 writers in the room had a straight face when they were like, yeah.
I feel so bad for Joshua because he likes the Transformers movies. I feel like we're just shitting on him.
They
Like,
were just-
like I love when they're like, "Oh yeah, dog, we gonna have Bumblebee fight Nazis back in 1942." It's
oh, that was bad. Or that weird
Oh,
ass
yeah.
gimmick
I'm
they have
watching-
now.
I'm watching this.
I am watching
That,
this.
that
Y'all have
freaking
gave me
weird,
my entertainment for
he had
tonight.
that weird.
you know what was really good
gimmick.
though? Bumblebee. That was a great movie.
Oh yeah,
I
Yeah,
tell
it was
people
really
I
good.
love
Pretty
that
good.
That was
movie.
great.
It was
Because
really
it was
good.
grounded.
Yeah.
It was
That
so
was good.
grounded, and it didn't have anything to do with like fighting Decepticons. It was just about a girl going through a tough time in her life as a teenager. She get in a car. The car happens to be a transformer.
First time. That was the first time
Yes.
the Decepticons ever felt scary for me.
Yes.
Yes, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
Like
for
I was
real, like,
actually
I was
scared.
like,
of
oh
these
shit!
things.
I was like, go Bumblebee, go go go! I was terrified of Starscream.
Like
in
that first
movie.
one that he
Yeah.
fights Blitzwing, like when it's because I thought that was Starscream when all the trailers.
Yeah,
were
I
coming
did
out.
too.
Yeah.
But that whole scene where he transforms and you see his head, you hear all the noises, all the sounds, you're like, and then the moment when he tackles Bumblebee, you just hear, "Did you think you could hide?" You're like,
Oh yeah.
"Oh man."
man, that
And
movie.
I think all of
Yeah.
the movies. I think they should start with that movie and just start it over.
And just started
yeah,
all
reboot,
over.
reboot,
Yeah.
Exactly,
a
yeah.
hard reboot, a hard.
Yeah.
Because
reboot of the whole
even
series.
the like design of the Transformers looks.
I was just about to
amazing.
say it.
Like Optimus
Yeah.
Prime looks
Mhm.
great. Like
Mhm.
everything, the design, because it was in the '80s, so they based it off of the cartoon. I was like,
Exactly.
That's
That's
all
how
you
you
had
gotta
to
do
do.
it.
Like
Exactly.
the Rise
That's
of the
what they
Beast.
should have
I
did.
think they have a new one, like
yeah,
Rise of the Beast.
the animal ones, right? Yeah, like the.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
the-
it's-
yeah, the
I don't
Beast
know how they're
Wars.
gonna do that.
I don't know.
CGI, bro. CGI.
I hate it already. I don't know.
Man,
I don't know.
yeah,
They're gonna use
Yeah,
a gorilla, and everyone's gonna call it Harambe.
Oh
Oh,
no.
no.
Oh.
Because I know there's a
goodness.
gorilla
Oh,
transformer.
Is that an Optimus?
Yeah.
How are you a gorilla transformer? What do you transform into?
A gorilla.
I just lost it at the.
I'm a
I just
gorilla.
lost- Wait,
Gorilla.
That's a
I'm
great
gorilla.
question, actually. Like, what did what did he do? Like,
Like,
wait a
how are you
second.
going to be of any use when like
Wait a second.
Starscream flies? Like,
This
yeah,
is
if he
true.
gets down there with you, okay, yeah, but like he can just sit up there and shoot you. What are you gonna do?
Nah, he's gonna
Right.
get to those trees and start swinging, bro. Just start swinging on the
I
trees
mean,
and try to get up as high as he
see,
can.
It's the same
This is-
amount of logic. It's the same amount of logic with a T-Rex transformer.
Right.
It's the same thing.
But see, like Grimlock goes hard all the time. Like that's
Yeah.
the thing. Like
I mean,
he's been
yeah.
hard ever since he came around because this is the thing. He's stupid. He can't say more than 2 words without fucking it up. And if he can't get a third word out, he just kills anybody that's around. That's the thing about him.
Yeah.
That's what I love about him. And plus, he
Yeah.
always
Mhm.
in every last one of the comics, he beats the living shit out of Optimus Prime and says, "Look, I could run the Autobots way better than you, but I'm not going to because I don't know anything about leadership and I can barely speak English. But I'm just gonna let you know that I'm stronger than
I
you."
can kick your ass.
I'll let you know
Yeah.
I'm the real MC of the show. I'll just let you.
Yeah.
I'll let you be.
And there are all
in
these
charge.
times where like Megatron will just habitually avoid fighting Grimlock because he knows he'll lose. It's so funny 'cause in the shows and in the shows and in the comics, he will like avoid him. Like he will just there'll be times where Soundwave is like Lord Megatron. Oh, and to hear his voice in the Bumblebee movie, to hear Soundwave's voice properly, I was like,
Man,
Yes.
Soundwave, my dude. I love
Yes.
Because that's my favorite
Yeah.
Transformer.
That's my
I love
favorite dude,
Soundwave.
man.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
see him
I
done right.
bought that movie on my Xbox just so I could watch it, and I'm glad. That's like one of the movies I bought that I was like, okay, I did it right this time because I bought the first Transformers and I don't even know what happened to it, and I'm glad because I don't want it to.
I never
paint
owned
my
any
collection.
Transformers, man. I was like, I'm not gonna put that in my collection.
Y'all don't like the Shia LaBeouf Transformers?
I mean,
they're
It's
racist
a-
sometimes. They are
yeah,
like Tyrese
yeah.
Gibson
The
in
whole-
the first movie. He's like, speak English. I'm like,
Yeah, and
That
then
did
the
not
whole
age
thing
well.
with
Oh, no, crazy. They had a
with
whole
Jazz.
They had a whole Transformer
Jazz.
later on. Yeah, Jazz.
black.
Or they had another one later on that was like he was like
Yeah.
those like what was it? Those little small ones.
Oh, the twins.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
They
Dude,
were
that
talking
was
Ebonics.
bad.
Yeah, they were
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
in
Them
yeah.
little
Ebonics.
Right.
racist ass robots.
I was like,
That was really
dang.
bad.
I was like,
Yeah.
man.
With he had like the gold tooth and all that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
they
remember.
did.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that
So
was.
word on the street,
Yeah.
word on the street was around the time that movie was made, he wanted the little bots, like the little ones, and he wanted them. Supposedly, he had written in the script that they would have said the N-word at one point in time during the movie, like with the A at the end.
Oh,
Oh,
goodness.
no.
And studio, when they read the script, they were like, red line, no, they cannot say that. He goes, no, it'll be funny. Like, we have to, that's our market. Because it was around that time that I think that Michael Bay was very honest with everybody and said, look, we are definitely catering to African American and Latino markets with these movies, because that's who's going to go watch them. Because we've left the white people in the dust, because the white people don't like the way they were doing it. And I kind of
That's
sat there and
crazy.
like understood, because I was like, okay, you know your market, yeah, but don't just be so blatantly obvious.
Exactly.
don't
Like,
pander
it's not
like
gonna
that,
work.
man. Yeah.
Don't be
That's-
pandering.
Nah,
It's
that
like
was
Fast and the Furious, where unfortunately the one white guy they had, and they've never replaced him ever since. Have you ever
Well,
noticed that? Not a
yeah.
single
Yeah.
white person has
Yeah.
ever
Yeah.
re-entered their little group. It's
Nah.
just been them, and now the villain is a white guy,
John
which I think is
Cena.
like who's Dom's brother, which is also bullshit because they look
that's
nothing alike.
That's adopted. Their steps, I guess.
You better be telling me, like, Dom's brother, you like, oh my god, it's just
So
like,
for 9 movies, he had a brother out there that nobody knew about.
Right. What is
Okay.
that?
Right.
Right. Not even
Okay.
mentioned. It's like,
See,
what is
the
that?
crazy
Okay.
thing about it is they only get mentioned when they are relevant to the story. That's how it is.
this
about
man was
anything.
boosting. This man flipped his shit over Rodrigo in the first movie, boosting DVD players in VCRs. That was the level of crime they were doing in the first movie. Now you're telling me they're fighting entire militaries with their cars?
As soon as they added The Rock, anything was possible. So,
Yeah, once The Rock became a part of that, that whole.
Like, I
entire
love The
thing.
Rock. I think he's cool and everything, but sometimes I'm just like, bro, leave, go back to Samoa. Like just
Oh,
just get out of the game for a while, please.
Just for a while,
Like,
man. Let
let
somebody
someone
else do
else
some movies,
breathe.
man.
because we always have, and that's, I was going to ask about that, because we always have that one, what I'm saying, action hero, what I'm saying? It's just his time, what I'm saying? Sylvester Stallone's too old. Arnold Schwarzenegger's gone funhouse mirror on everybody. He's too old. So it's like Terry Crews is on some other shit. So it's just like now.
Yeah,
we're
what's
just
been
like,
going
okay.
on with him lately? Didn't he
I don't
write a
even-
book about his porn addiction? And
The
no,
whole
Terry
thing.
Crews is always accused of being an Uncle Tom. That's what happened. I heard
too.
that way back. Oh, like the black community really didn't like some stuff that he said,
Mm.
because he was just like, y'all just need to be, he was like, y'all need to understand where you stand in life. And I was just like, oh God, no
Nah,
one
he
proofread
just-
that for you.
He
Like,
just keeps putting his foot in his mouth. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
so really The Rock is like the only out, what I'm saying? And nobody really cares about Vin Diesel like that. So it's pretty much just The Rock at this
yeah,
point.
no one really
Yeah,
cares.
he
Like,
had Bloodshot, and then after that, they were like, they're like, go back to Fast and Furious movies. That's what you need to.
Yeah, basically.
and like
Yeah,
he did
man.
that Live Frankenstein or whatever it was called, or like The Last Vampire Hunter, and I'm just like,
I
get
can't remember
out.
that.
I don't even
Now-
remember
I
that.
don't remember
See,
that.
see,
They're
that's
the
how
same
bad it
movie.
was.
They're the same movie. It's not like a. It's just people are always so like, I love The Rock. I love what he's doing. He's gonna be Black Adam soon. It's gonna be a role
Right,
he's
true.
always wanted to play. He's no Black Adam. He's Middle Eastern, but we won't say anything about that.
Let's not even get
Right.
involved, because that's a can of worms.
But yeah, keeping that closed. But like, it's just you can't just solely rely on one person to carry all the action movies around. You have to let everybody else have a say or have a piece of the pie. But when no one else wants to do it,
No. Mm-mm.
and you've just oversaturated the market so much that it's almost like we have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the only other guy was Hugh Jackman, and he's like not doing it. He's just done. Like after he did what is it,
Logan?
The Greatest Showman?
Oh,
No,
Great Showman,
well,
Yeah.
The Greatest Showman was just like his saying, "Fuck you guys, I'm not ripping my shirt off anymore." Like it is.
No,
what
he
it
has a
is.
new movie out now. He has a new movie coming out. I forget what it's called, but it's called. He goes like into dreams and he's like trying to find this girl, and that's I forget what the movie is called. I think it's Reminiscence or something like that. But that's his new movie he's got coming out. Like I saw it in theaters. Like so I was like, oh, he's back. Okay. So
is it an action movie or is it just?
It
like
has some action to it. It has some action to it, but it's definitely more on the thriller side. I would say, like from the beginning part of the trailer, and then like that, he's fighting in the trailer, so it's got some action to it. But the beginning half is like really thriller-esque.
I want
and I
to
was
see
like,
him in some biopics or something because like he can act. Like we all know
He can really act.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
No.
Like, we all know that The Rock can act. Like he
Mhm.
can if he needs to.
Oh,
Let's be honest. All the pro wrestlers can act. It's all.
Yeah,
That's what they do.
that's what
That's
they
what
do.
they've been doing their whole career.
Yeah, right. That's their
Right.
whole life, man.
Exactly.
Be like, oh, you really hit me with that chair. Fuck, it's like it's acting. You know what I'm saying? See how convincing I was just then? Like, it's just acting.
Yeah,
So-
sign him up.
He can act
He's
because I'm
ready.
excited to see him as Peacemaker and
Oh, yeah.
Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
I don't even want to
Right.
go to James
Mhm.
Gunn because I like James Gunn, but I also
Same.
sit there and I'm just like, dude, you made some funny movies about people in space and with a raccoon and a tree. You have no right to be dissing people like Martin Scorsese on how they. You're not that guy, pal. You're not that guy. you're not that guy. But it's, I don't know if you've seen the new like trailer for the Suicide Squad, but I've nothing but respect and love for James Gunn for what he does because he's a fantastic director. He's a great storyteller. He's awesome. I just don't like when directors are like they make themselves like out to be this bigger thing than they really are. Because when it says from the horribly beautiful mind of James Gunn, I'm like, just say from director James Gunn. You don't have to stroke it. You don't have to like remind me that your mind is horribly beautiful. Like I love when they say from visionary director because like you have a reason why that title's being given to you because you are a visionary. But I don't know. I feel like the title visionary is so loosely used because like, they want to make people feel good. I don't know.
It just depends, like, because I was actually going to ask you guys about that. Like, how do you feel about? Because fans are one thing, but then I've watched like plenty interviews and I've heard perspectives from different like directors, and it's just like a lot of gatekeeping going on when you talk about like the types of movies that are being made. Like you mentioned Marty Scorsese. What constitutes like a film? And I'm just like, when you give certain guys, I was listening to Jordan Peele the other day talking about the same thing, and he was comparing his style of filmmaking and let's say Marty Scorsese style of filmmaking compared to just a serialized like Avengers thing, and how that's really taken over film right now, and how he feels like his type of filmmaking isn't really represented that. I kind of wanted to ask you guys, like, how did you feel about these different types of films, especially like you and Marcus, like as writers and all that kind of stuff? Do you think it's all valid? Do you think they have a point, or do you think it's just gatekeeping?
I think it's a point on both sides because I guess for someone like Martin Scorsese, who is a proud member of the old guard of filmmaking, he has every right to be one of the most talented directors to ever grace the screen.
For sure.
He is very valid in his way for saying, oh yeah, the Avengers and Marvel films, they are just theme parks. They're rides. I think people take it to heart because people take it to, like James Gunn took it to heart because Scorsese is an idol of his, is someone he really looked up to.
Mm-hmm.
And for your idol to say that, yeah, your work is good, but it's just some amusement park, you're going to feel a bit jaded.
Yeah.
But James Gunn has also always been someone to feel jaded about things when people criticize his work because he can't take criticism. And, and he always wants to be that center of attention. And he relies so much on his mind and his ability to, think outside the box. And, that's what makes his movies great. But I don't think it's gatekeeping necessarily. I think it's more of just this core opinion. And the old guard of film will step in when they want to step in. and they
Yeah.
want to change something because they feel that someone's breaking the rules, or they feel that someone is
Mhm.
by what the rules should be. And I do think those rules should be enforced. I think they should be enforced for everyone, no matter who you
Yeah.
are, no matter where you come from, no matter what you put forward.
Hmm.
I don't think that I heard one of my friends say, "Oh, there should be a superhero category at the Oscars." I nearly slapped him across the goddamn face.
I don't think so.
I was
Yeah, I
like,
feel the
"You
same.
are a stupid
Nah.
Yeah.
motherfucker if you think that they are ever going to let that in."
No,
Exactly.
Mhm.
Nah.
Yeah.
They shouldn't. They should.
Like that wonderful girl, I hate that I forget her name, but the costume designer for Black Panther, I was moved to tears when I saw her acceptance speech for her Oscar, because she
Mhm.
gave the story of her just being this person at a desk that Ryan Coogler decided to believe in, and now she's here. She couldn't have been more grateful to him for being there for her than when she was on that stage in the moment. And she deserved it. That costume design was impeccable.
Immaculate. Yeah.
As someone who worked on the set and got to see all of that come to fruition, I was like, good God, is there an end to this shit? I was almost like, damn, I know I can't wear any of this stuff and get away with it, but I was jealous. I was like, God, man, like, this shit is
It
amazing.
was, it was nice. Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So
Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
I was just gonna say, just to piggyback off that, it's like basically it's like for us, for me and Chris, we are actual students of film. So we're from that generation where like we come in under like Scorsese, Spike Lee, Quentin Tarantino. Like we've had so many people in front of us that we can learn from. We study every genre, every decade, every transition of film, whether it was from the silent era to classical Hollywood to the risky like 60s and 70s black exploitation films and war films. So we study so much of it. So when you hear somebody like Martin Scorsese say that, like when you first hear it, man, he don't know what he's talking about because he's from the old school of film. They're the gatekeepers of film, like you were saying. But at the same time, when you sit down and you actually listen to what he's saying and put it into context, it's not he's shitting on like superhero films. He's just saying it's not the traditional, like it's not cinema, it's not cinematic, like what film the building block. Because when we learn film, honestly, nowadays they are implementing it in film like now. But when I first started studying film, you did not hear anything about a superhero movie. And it had been plenty of them out by then, but that's not what they didn't teach you anything about that. Like the first thing you get to see, which I know Chris has watched this, is Citizen Kane. That's one of the like big ones they show you.
Orson. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's, and that's why I appreciate Martin Scorsese doing that, because he's trying to just say you still have to appreciate this art as a craft. So it's very valuable, and that's what. And like I was saying the other day with y'all, that's one thing that film is losing now. It's becoming more of a like social media tag promotional thing. Like it's whatever's hot right now. Let's see if we can make some money off of it instead of telling a good story. And that's why Martin Scorsese is saying the things he's saying about superhero films, because no, they're not bad films, but it's for its own lane. It's doing what it's supposed to do. And for those, because like he's saying, for those an hour and a half, 2 hours, you're entertained. But once you leave out that theaters, okay, that movie was good. All right, let's go get something to eat.
It don't stick with you.
Yeah, but if you go see Goodfellas or something like Silver Lining Playbooks or Casino, it got you like, damn.
Yeah.
Okay, I never thought of it like that. Like Knives Out was, oh man, like I want to watch it again. Like I've watched that movie 3 times. Yeah, so I could actually see everything that I missed. And that's what Scorsese is talking about. That's the art of film right there.
Who you are, don't forget it.
Exactly.
Like, your films are good, yes, but like the Marvel films, they're good, but don't try to act like something you're not.
Yeah.
Because you're not a film, you're a movie.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's a movie, a big budget movie to make money at the box office and entertain you, and that's what it. And like that's what it. And it's doing a great job at that.
Yeah.
Like Get Out is a film. Us is a
film. Yes.
Yeah.
Those are films.
Yeah.
Those are.
And it's funny because when you watch stuff like that, and when I watch those films, I could be like, man, Jordan Peele was reading some fraud and all those film theories, because you have to know that shit to make those kind of films. You just can't sit there and just write out of nowhere something like that. You have to actually study like filmmaking in theory to know, okay, I can do this because I know this connects to this, and this is why this happens, and this is why horror is like this. But psycho, you gotta do it with the psychology part of it, and what the mind is thinking, and how we tell ourselves we're scared and all this. But that's like a whole nother thing to talk about. But that's what makes a film. So it's not like nobody's saying, oh, the Marvel movies or the superhero genre, if you can really call it a genre. We're not trying to say it's not a movie or a film. It's just don't try to put it in the same category and try to push it into what's like having it as a category in the Oscars, because it makes no sense, because what would you put up against it? You know what I'm saying?
I was about to say, in
Exactly,
that
yeah.
vein, you could call it its own genre, because it all has the same. They're completely formulaic. You can watch them like blindfolded. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
like,
you know
and
the
Yeah,
know
beats.
what's
you
gonna happen.
literally can.
Yeah.
You know what's
So
gonna happen.
know
Like,
the beats.
like
Yeah.
I told somebody, I was like, when we went to see Endgame, I was like, I hate to spoil it for y'all, but I hope that Tony Stark is gonna die in this movie.
It was
It's
telegraphed.
like, why would you?
It was
It's
heavily.
like,
was
why would you say that? And I was
telegraphed.
like, because it's obvious. He's been about to die like the last 4 movies. So of course he's gonna die in this
Yeah.
one. And then just knowing outside of the film that his contract was up, I was like, he's gonna die. So it's predictable. When stuff like that, and that's why I tell people, I don't go with me to see a superhero movie, because you can figure out what's gonna happen in like the first 30 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, they're
So-
pretty like Marvel, and I say Marvel and DC, but they're like very just okay.
Yeah.
We got to introduce the characters, give them some kind of thing, and then villain fight, and then scene, and you're just like, yeah, every time, yeah, you know what you're getting
Yeah,
involved in,
and
like,
that's
every
what
single time
exactly-
we go there, exactly. Like it's nothing that's gonna. Well, people that haven't read comic books got Infinity War and was like, everybody's dying. Like they just started getting all crazy about it. They were just like,
Yeah.
Spider-Man died, and they were feeling it. And I was just like, I was looking at them like, there's another movie, right? They'll
Yeah,
be
someone-
back.
someone-
It's coming.
Someone sat there and they said they like I went and I saw Infinity War, and somebody next to me was crying when Spider-Man was dying. I just looked at him like with this face of disgust. I was just like,
It's a whole nother movie about
He's
to
gonna come
So
back.
you just
He has
chill out.
like, he has a full contract with them.
We know he has a movie.
Exactly.
Like he had a movie coming out after the freaking series, like the other conclusion.
And I
You know
think
he's
in
back.
like the middle of COVID, this person posted a picture on their Instagram, like, I'm just saying the world has never been the same since Tony Stark died. And I commented on that.
Oh,
in all
no.
caps, he's not real. He's not real.
Like,
Oh no!
like
not
Robert
one of
Downey
those.
Jr. is very much alive.
He just made that. He just directed that Netflix special. So you know
He
he's
just,
still kicking.
he just made that shit ass Welsh accent Dr. Doolittle movie.
Oh, damn. Oh,
In that one series about the kid who's a deer.
Oh, the Sweet Tooth,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Sweet
Tooth,
Sweet
yeah.
Tooth.
Sweet
Sweet
Good?
Tooth.
I heard it.
I
haven't
People,
watched it
people
yet.
tell me it's
Yeah, I
good.
refuse.
I was like, you gotta watch it
Why
with
is the
me.
black guy? I forget his name, but why is the black guy? Why is he always watching over some fucking kid? Like you ever heard that? It always
Yeah.
black guys in. He's
Yeah.
always watching over some.
He
Yeah.
knows his role, man.
Yeah.
He's typecasted, man. He knows his role.
Yeah, you always got to have the. And that's funny you brought that up. I was watching an interview with, and I didn't even think it was I knew it was a thing, but I didn't think she felt that way about it. It was an interview with Octavia Spencer, and she was like, "Dude, I get it. I really get it, but I'm not wise. I'm tired of playing the wise black character that
Wise
nurtures
grandma.
people. Yeah, I'm tired of playing that role." And I'm like, yeah, and that's true. Is every time the black guy or the big black lady is always the wise, mystical, nurturing character. I'm like, dude, it doesn't always have to be like
It does not. It does.
It's a trope, man.
She's
I'm
like,
like-
look, I can be dumb. Like
basically she literally
Yeah.
sat there and said, like, I'm in real life, like, I'm not wise, bro. Like, stop giving me these roles. Like, stop it.
I'm not smart, man. Like, please
I'm-
stop.
Like, chill out, man. Y'all making me look smarter than I actually am. Like, calm down.
Seriously, I could go down the list. Like I said, all of them. Queen Latifah, her, what's her name? They stopped. That was part of the reason why they. What was that TV show? Power? No, not Power. What was the one with Taraji P Henson?
man.
What was that one? Because she was just tired.
Empire.
Yeah, Empire.
Empire. Because she was tired of playing that type of role. They always like horseshoe like these black women into these roles. I'm like, dang, man, it's unfortunate. That's crazy. There should be more of a. That's why when Octavia Spencer played in that movie Ma, I think it was.
Yeah.
She looked like she was genuinely having fun because it was like a departure from all the roles she usually plays as like the stoic, smart, like overseeing nurturer. And it's like, damn, it doesn't always have to be that.
Yeah.
Like so many people are typecast all these different things, and of course, like some actors are okay with it, other actors are like, it's crazy to see that. Who was it? Fuck, I can't remember who it was, but no, it was Daniel Craig. So someone said, "Oh, are you sad that you're going to be typecast as someone like James Bond?" He like looked at the reporter. He's like, "I did other roles aside from James Bond." They go, "Yeah, but you'll be most well known for James Bond." I'm like, "He's okay, and."
Like I said, I know we said this movie like 100 times, but
are you trying to goad me into saying something? Like, no,
yeah,
I don't care. He
was amazing in Knives Out, by the way. Like his southern accent was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two more now. He's doing Knives Out 2, Knives Out 3 because the whole series.
Yeah, like he did a great job. So
wasn't he in that movie? What was it, Dream House? I think it was called, where he played like a serial killer. It was something like that.
Probably. He was in Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Also,
never watched that. Ooh, do not watch it on a full stomach.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen. I've seen bits and pieces.
He's doing in the bathroom. That's just, it's like something with skin or something. Like it makes you just want to throw up.
Yeah, it's a pretty graphic movie. Like,
no, it's
sure.
graphic shit. It's either the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo or the Girl Who Kicked the Hornet's Nest.
No, I've never seen that one. I've never seen
the series is fucking fucked up as shit. It's really good though.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna definitely have to check that out.
Like, it's like some, if you want like some pseudo Hannibal Lecter type shit. Like,
oh yeah. No. One thing have you seen Hannibal the television show?
Oh, with Mads Mikkelsen?
Oh yeah, is that good?
It's amazing. Yeah. Me and Joshua watched that mess, man. Oh my gosh. I'm telling you,
Fishburne is like bumming around in there somewhere. Is he good?
He does a really good. Everybody in that show does a really good job. And when I tell you the kills in the show, everything is extremely graphic. Like, it's crazy. Yeah, it's wild for a television show. I didn't think they would ever put that kind of content on the TV show. Like,
I love Mads Mikkelsen. I think he's such a great actor.
No, he's really awesome.
Like his best, in my opinion, was Valhalla Rising. It's intense, but be prepared to watch a film that's more geared towards. It tells its story with its cinematography rather than its lines and stuff. Because they go to the new world, and like the isolation of the new world and the enormity of the new world just completely fucks them up. And like they turn on each other, some of them die, some of them get killed by the natives. I think like one like rapes the other. It's weird. And then eventually it just all ends with them getting surrounded by the natives, and then it just cuts to black. And you're like sitting there like,
no,
man,
I like it.
America was scary as shit. Imagine, like, you're some fucking Viking, and you're just on this hill, and you just see it just extend, and they're just like, how far can you see? I don't fucking know. It just keeps going. It just never fucking ends. I thought we were the people on the planet. What the hell?
I would definitely have to check that out. So.
Yeah. But yeah, like, speaking of movies like that typically harp or more so harp on the cinematography, I don't know if you guys saw Hardcore Henry.
That's good.
Yeah, I wanted to see. That's the first person one, right?
The first person. Yeah, the POV.
Yeah.
It's different, but it's definitely a ride. It will give you. Don't watch it up close. Like it will kind of give you a little bit of vertigo. You'll be like, oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. You'll have
which is a great movie by Hitchcock, by the way,
yeah,
Vertigo.
yeah. But
Still got to see Vertigo.
Yeah.
You got
I'm
that
tripping.
movie is a trippy ass movie, bro. Like I watched it when I was a little, so it had me tripping a little bit, but it was good.
That's what's up. I'm gonna definitely have to check it out. But yeah, guys, one of the last things that I wanted to ask you before we all head out, because it is definitely about that time, and my tablet's about to die.
It's always about to
It's
die.
always-
Do
it's
you
always
ever
about to
charge
die.
it? You ever
Yes.
just charge it? Do you keep the
Yes, I
charger like
do.
next to your thing and plug it
It's
in?
literally plugged in.
What's wrong with your outlet, man? What are we working with here? What's kind of janky stuff we working
Man.
with, man?
It's just one of them things, man.
Man,
But it is
needs to be
definitely about
fixed.
it really does, man. I'm gonna get it together. But the last thing I wanted to ask you guys, man, is we talked about a lot of like film, we've talked about a lot of stuff in writing. I just wanted everybody to give like one recommendation for our viewers and listeners out there before we go. Like if there's one solitary film you can give to everybody, like something that could be your favorite, something that that you've seen recently that you think our viewers and listeners would like to watch.
Yeah, that's a hard one. You gave me the hardest question in the world.
I was gonna say that's a tough one, Chad.
That's a toughie, man. You go
I mean,
first, man.
I want to come fight you for that one.
Yeah, that
I
was dirty. That was underhanded.
Mm.
Came
I
from
mean,
the
I could
belt.
go first.
Hey, you
Go
go
ahead, Josh.
first, man. Do your thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I would recommend The Edge with Anthony Hopkins and Alec Baldwin.
For sure,
Nice.
that's a good one.
Okay, Josh.
Man,
Yeah,
I'm blanking.
Okay, Josh, give me
I
a
mean,
little pound right
I mean,
there.
it's a little something. I barely. I need to watch more movies actually. But yeah,
Man, I'm blanking.
What's a good one for me?
You
You know what? I'm gonna go off the tail end with mine. Instead of choosing like a traditional, like regular film, I'm gonna choose. It's technically a superhero film, but I feel it's not at the same time.
Mhm.
But I'm gonna choose Batman Returns by the Tim Burton film because I
Nice.
feel like I will argue up and down with somebody, but I think that's the best Batman film out of all of them. For right as we stand right now, I feel like that's one that people overlook a lot, and they should definitely check it out. If you want a movie with a good story, especially with its villains and the hero, that's it right there. And it's set in Christmas time, so it's a Christmas movie too. Fight me about it. Fight me about
Man,
it.
you're one of those people that die hard the Christmas movie. You're one of those
Yeah.
people. You're one of them, aren't you, Marcus? I feel it.
Nah, I just like to say that Batman movie is a Christmas movie because people always want to say it's
It
not.
is though. It
Yeah,
is.
I don't even like Christmas movies like that, but I just like to fight people. About
Oh
it. So,
man, I just thought about that one Christmas movie we me and you used to watch, Chad, or you and Josh used to watch. We used to watch it every Christmas. It was Jingle All the Way. Remember with
I was trying to say Jingle All the Way.
I recommend that to anybody. That's a good time.
That's my movie, right?
That's a
there.
that's a good time. I'm gonna put that as my recommendation because I had to think about it. For a second. But that's if you haven't seen it, that's a good time.
Yeah. Knives Out, because we've been saying it a lot. Knives Out.
If
is
you didn't
another good
know,
one
if you didn't
because
know, Knives Out was a good movie. It's a good movie.
So, God, I guess
Yes.
the movie I would have is The Fortress. It's a South Korean film.
Okay.
I think the last days of the Joseon Dynasty or something, but
Cool.
it's this beautifully shot film. It's all shot on location in winter in like the Korean mountains. Absolutely beautiful. I think it's about like the Ming I think the King Dynasty coming down to Korea, just annexing Korea, and it really sheds a light on how Korea was just so bullied like throughout its entire history by like China and Japan, how one was annexing it over the other, or one was saving it from the other. And the Joseon kings were seen as like divine. The emperor, or the king rather, in the movie, he's just young and he's just in this impossible situation of where he's facing these insurmountable odds. And he doesn't know what he should do. Should he sue for peace? Should he fight? He knows he can't fight because they lose every battle. And he's just, and you see the smaller stories of the people involved, but he really stands there and just takes it. And the movie is so sad because it ends with him basically bowing to the King Emperor, like the Great Khan. And the Khan is played by this absolute unit of a man who has like the best deep voice you'll ever hear. Like you hear that, you like shiver because you're like, God, and I have surround sound in this room. So when he came on the screen and he has this deep voice, I'm like, what is that? like, oh, this is surround sound. But no, Fortress, highly recommend it. Some of the best battle scenes I've seen from a foreign film. It's just an all-around great watch.
Nice.
Like you'll love it just for the ambiance.
Okay.
Nice. Sounds
Adding it to
good.
the
Sounds
list.
good. Definitely adding it to the list. And I think I've talked about this guy before, but it's somebody like we haven't mentioned in this podcast in particular, but Charlie Kaufman is an amazing like screenwriter and director. And one of my favorite all-time movies from him would have to be Being John Malkovich. And
Okay.
it's amazing. So I don't even really know what to say about it. Just watch
There
it.
you go. That's enough. That's enough.
Yeah, Being John Malkovich. Honestly, watch all of everything Charlie Kaufman made. Just watch all of it. All of his movies are amazing, and that's what I got. But yeah, guys. So those are all good movie references. But definitely, Chris, I want to thank you so much for coming out.
Man, this was such a pleasure. I was so happy to be invited on you guys. I remember when Marcus told me about it. I was just like, oh, I've never been on a podcast before. Why not?
Hey, we're your first podcast. Here we go. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So how was your
much.
first experience, man?
It was awesome, man. You guys are great. I hope more of a in-person thing. That'd be awesome to all sit here and do that.
No, we definitely now that's the plan, man. Like sooner or later, we definitely want to get that in the future. In the meantime, and even when we do have that, we have to have you back, certainly.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
We definitely gotta have you back to talk about Opus.
Yeah,
It sounds pretty cool, man. Yeah.
It is,
Yeah.
y'all. It's awesome,
Mhm.
man. I've been seeing this since the beginning. So hey, this man been working his ass off, man.
That's what's up, man. The grind.
Yeah,
Definitely, man.
yeah.
So we appreciate all that good stuff. So please, man, it'd be an honor before we all wrap up and get out of here. Definitely let all of our viewers and listeners know where they can find you on social media, what you can talk about that you have that you're working on right now, all of that good stuff.
I guess you could find me on since day one, Christoph. I went through a Kendrick phase, so I still am going through that phase.
We all are. Yeah.
Where there not be like some fucking MF Doom shit where he's been dead, knock on wood. But yeah, A1 since day one off on Instagram. I think you'll link it if you post something about it. But current projects I'm working on right now is, of course, Opus, a TV series that I plan to pitch to a network. I've already pitched to a network, so I have a delayed yes. And I'm currently pitching it to high-profile individuals such as Mark Hamill, Dallas Howard, Mark Wahlberg, and a few other people.
Cool.
What?
Yeah.
Huh?
He's got money, so and I need that. Like I'm working on some other smaller projects, so trying to get some stuff off the ground. But again, thank you so much for having me on here, and I hope that I will be invited back again.
Oh, for
course,
sure.
man.
Definitely.
Of course.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yes, completely. It's been such an honor. Thank you, Marcus, for letting us know about you. And yeah, so it's been great, man. You're definitely completely family now, man. This has been the best film conversation we've had ever.
Oh yeah, this has been back and forth all the whole
It's
time.
been
It was
great.
not a moment where we weren't talking about something. Like it's
Yeah.
been charged. I enjoyed it.
Definitely, man. We completely had a blast. And guys, just like every week, guess what time it is?
Shameless
Come on
promotion.
with it.
Shameless
Shameless
promotion.
promotional.
Yes,
Oh,
so it is the Shameless Promotional, guys. We are the Square Round Table Podcast, and you can catch us every week. And you can catch this podcast specifically next Friday on squareroundtablepod.fandomlim.com. And yeah, it was up to you.
I have to say that saying that website every time it's getting really nice. It's fancy. But yeah, you can catch us on YouTube on Fridays as well at any time. And if you like the video, smack the like button. Leave us a comment about anything in this video. If you are a Transformers fan, come down those comments and tell us how Michael Bay is like your favorite director.
I'm sure you'll get a lot of mixed responses. Like all the Snyder fans, all the Michael Bay fans, all the Milan fans, like
They all gang together at us.
I picked them all off for you.
They just gang
Right.
as one this massive collection of just fandoms, and they're just coming at us. This is crazy. Yeah, share the video, hit the notification bell underneath the video so you get notified of this video and our future videos in the future. And as always, I'm here again. Talk about that
Facebook
Facebook
page,
group.
man.
I get
So
y'all to
it's-
come out here. At this point in time, I said it every podcast. You know what I'm going to say every time. So I'm here just asking y'all to join in on the party. We're waiting. And
Please
follow
talk
us
to
on our,
us.
yes, that like Josh always says, please talk to us.
Please talk
Hit
to
us on that Instagram. Hit us on the Twitter, and join the Facebook group. Yeah, Round
Definitely, and
table.
all that stuff, guys, we'll have in the description below, and that includes our Facebook group, Twitter, all of that good stuff, and we'll
Doobly-doo.
include in a doobly-doo. We'll
In
include
the
a direct
doobly-doo.
link. We'll include a direct link to our new amazing website, and once again, that's squareroundtablepod.fandomlim.com. And yes, guys, I would love for everybody to introduce themselves one more time before we head out. And I am your host, Chad Singleton.
Dimitri.
Josh Singleton.
Marcus.
Christopher Ward.
And this has been the Square Roundtable. We are out, guys.
Peace.